Hopefully you can hear me. Let me know in the chat if you can. It is Sunday. Happy Sunday, guys. I hope we are doing well today. It has been a pretty interesting weekend for me. On Friday, I did my Halloween stream, so that was just me playing the rest of The Walking Dead. Unfortunately, I didn't dress up as much as I wanted to, but I just kind of showed up as myself. I talked about how this Halloween was pretty cozy, though I do like to go out during the Halloween season. This time around, I was not able to, and that's okay, because of all the things that are going on with jobs and whatnot being unavailable. So there was that, and then on Saturday, I filmed another episode of AX's What's on Your Mind. So that will be up next Friday. I will start editing it by tomorrow. And then, yeah, that took up a majority of my afternoon. So I just finished that up. And then I listened to a bunch of music in my boyfriend's room. So that was fun. And I deleted a lot of social media on my phone. So I have no Pinterest, no Instagram, definitely no X slash Twitter. Out of spite, I still call that platform Twitter. I just can't get on board with it being called X. Can you guys? And I got rid of TikTok definitely. I just can't do it anymore, girl, with TikTok. I can't do it. Like, it's fun. It's fun. And it keeps me in the know and it gives me content to talk about. But also at the same time, it just, like I've always said, it comes to a point where not everything needs a talking piece. Not everything needs to have a thought piece or a talking point or makes me think, or it's something about the diaspora of Black folks. It gets very stressful for me to listen to that all the time. So there was that. There was that. And then I have Tumblr on here still, but Tumblr is boring. Tumblr was fun when it was spicy. When it was spicy and you could post all types of not safe for work content, that's when it was fun. Hey guys, but real quickly, let's take a look at this hot picture of Savika from Arcane as I go through Tumblr. Isn't she gorgeous? She's so fine, bro. She's so fine. um. So anyway, uh, there was that. So no TikTok, no Twitter, no or X, no Twitter X, Twex. um, I don't have any Facebook. I've been not had Facebook ever since my first account got compromised. I was like, fuck Facebook. I'm not going back. So no Facebook. No Instagram. So no social media platforms on my phone with the exception of Tumblr and Reddit. I have a Reddit. And I kind of like Reddit. I don't know. I trust Reddit more than I trust AI. I'm not going to lie to you. And that might sound, to some people, that might sound incredibly ignorant. But to me, that sounds right. I trust the opinion of other individuals than I do trust the opinion of a learning machine model that's been hyped up to be some big oracle. I do. And sometimes you get experts on Reddit. So would I recommend you go to Reddit for like serious like medical advice or any of that? Not really, because 9 times out of 10 they're probably going to tell you go to a doctor, which is what you should do. Should you go to Reddit for like traumatic therapy advice? Probably not. No. But if it's stuff like, for example, I'm dealing with plantar fasciitis right now, so I'll peek in those Reddits to see what people are doing to cure from that, and what I can do to feel better, and just little stuff like that. I filed for unemployment like 2 weeks ago, and I still haven't gotten it, and I'm worried. Because the woman at the front desk of unemployment has said that all I had to do was file for it and then like put in all my information, the job that I was let go from, how much money I was making, watch the whole entire training video, which I don't understand why they're having us watch this dumbass training video, confirm that you're going to be applying to a couple jobs while you're unemployed, and then, go ahead and, file or apply for unemployment. And hit send or confirm, and then it'll all be set. The woman at the front desk of the unemployment office had told me to put in my unemployment claims, file my claims on a Tuesday because there was a really big backlog. So I did that, and then Sunday came around and my unemployment was nowhere to be found. So I'm like, okay, what's going on? I have a vacation in a couple weeks. That my partner is taking me to. He wants to go to he wants to go on this vacation, so I'm going with him. So I was like, maybe I can have some money saved up for the vacation. It's not looking that way. Um and so I filed for another claim last week on Sunday for this week, and I know that they come in the unemployment claims come in on a Sunday, like Sunday night into Monday morning. Once you file it the Sunday prior to. So I've kept filing unemployment claims. I've already got the confirmation letter that this is the amount of money that we're going to give you every single week. So, but then there's also a notice and a bar that lets me know that my unemployment claims are still being appealed, but I got the notice that says that here's the amount that, or my unemployment claim is still being reviewed, but I got the notice that lets me know that I've been approved for unemployment benefits, but this is the certain amount of money I'm getting a week. So I'm just very confused overall of like what this is supposed to look like. Um, because, I need my money. I was considering applying for SNAP benefits, but that looks royally fucked. It's just so convenient because my partner was like, hey, maybe you should apply for some food stamps that could help. I'm like, I don't know about that. That could be a little complicated. He's like, you should do it anyway. And then government shut down and now they're withholding food stamps. And I'm just like, well, damn. Damn. Really? So I was on Reddit and I looked up what is it normal for the government to like backlog unemployment benefits where it takes like weeks, sometimes months before you get your money. And they said yeah, it's normal. Um so that sucks. So we'll have to see what happens, what that's gonna look like. But yeah, things are tough. Things are tough. I watched this video on YouTube about how the 9 to 5 structure is changing and evolving. It started during the pandemic, um, when people realized if they can do most of their work at home, what's the point of going to work and striving for promotions and all that. Of course, there was some fear mongering about AI, and the video ended in talking about having being more of a contribution to society instead of a worker for society. And so the future of employment might not look so much as you clock into work, you go home, you do that for the next 20 years, and you're good. And then potentially you can retire, right? But the job market might look like gig work, independent work, multiple streams of income here and there. Um, if you add value. And can I rant about that for like a few minutes? The concept and the notion of like if you have quote unquote value. Because why on earth, on this little green earth, would I have to jump through hoops, do some mobile levels of gymnastics, worthy performances to show these companies that I have value as an employee. Like, why do I have to do that? Like, could it just be that I have this, if I have the skills, excuse me, if I have the skills. No, if I don't have the skills, then maybe I need to prove why I'm valuable, right? But if I have all the skills and you see that I do all the things and I have all the experience that I need, why do I have to, like, what does adding value to a company look like? Does it look like being a great value, Sigma, girl bossy, LinkedIn content creator? Selling gigs and coaching services and making asinine posts about what you can do to adapt to this job market? What am I doing here? What am I doing here? I've said this before, but it feels like corporate is leaning more towards people who provide quote unquote value, and that quote unquote value looks like an individual who has a overall brand for themselves, an internet brand for themselves. It has very little to do with the actual skill that they have and embody, but more so about how cool do you look online? How many followers do you have on LinkedIn? Is this closely tied to other things you're doing on the internet? Like, do you have a YouTube channel catered to your whole career? Do you have multiple Medium articles about your experience in your career? Do you have a Instagram catered to your career? Like, how many followers? Are you a content creator? Is basically what a lot of these companies are looking at. Like, what it feels like they're looking for. What is your personal brand? And my whole thing, my whole shtick has always been, if I have to prove to y'all what my personal brand is as a viable candidate to work your raggedy ass job, I might as well become a full-time content creator on my own. Because you're telling me I need to advertise myself like a content creator. Yeah, I have to advertise myself like a content creator in order to get a 9 to 5 job that you can lay me off within 6 months to a year, sometimes even more brutal, within 90 days if you don't think I'm the right fit. Why don't I take all that effort and energy, instead of it being so focused on my career and what I do, as if I really like what I do for a full-time job anyway, that much? Why don't I just focus all that effort and energy on doing things that I actually like and becoming a full-time content creator? Because, like, who the hell are you? You're gonna lay me off and replace me with Grok and have Grok do all your user flows. Like, I don't know, dude. I don't know. Some of the subreddits I've been on are fun. I kind of have to. Okay, so when I was a spicy girl, I was on like the not safe for work side of Reddit, and there were some subreddits that I was still a part of. I kind of had to get rid of them because I don't know. Sometimes I don't want to see coochie for breakfast. You know what I mean? Like, I don't. I love, and I appreciate the coochie for breakfast. I always like to see a nice looking coochie for breakfast. But sometimes, there's the vibe. Like, I'm over here learning that JD Vance is getting buddy buddy up with the late Charlie Kirk's wife, right? And over here is like some juicy coochie, and I'm like, okay, like, what do I do? Like, where should I bring my attention to? So I had to get out of those subreddits. Support to all those girls though. And one subreddit I found which was really funny. It was like Sanrio, Y2K, McBling, and like 420. And I'll let you fill in the blanks for what the 420 looks like or what the 420 means. And it's just a bunch of Y2K girly pop enthusiasts, 420 blazing it, just smoking. They got their glizzies, they got their bongs, like, and they're all just taking a hit. And I just think that's so funny. Because, like, of that idea for a subreddit, and I'm pretty sure like it does very well. Like there'll be girls in their Y2K, their Sanrio Hello Kitty merchandise, you know, taking a hit of their bong, taking a hit of their glizzies, but it's just like who's thinking of that? Where did that idea come from actually? So, yeah. Yeah, that's one of the subreddits I'm in on my other account, and it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. Um, yes, yes. Other fleeting topics I want to talk about before we get into our Reddit story Sundays. Nothing too deep. Talked about Megan the Stallion last Friday or this past Friday. The Halloween costumes this year were cute. I saw a Halloween costume of a kid who looked exactly like the kid from Up, the Pixar movie with the old man and the girl, the Boy Scout. Yeah, he looked exactly like the Boy Scout from Up. That was cute. Um, what else has been going on? I might be able to go to the gym soon, though. I probably shouldn't go because my feet have to heal. So I guess my workouts will probably consist of me stretching out my feet. I don't know what type of cardio I can do. I don't know if I should be walking. Probably not. Probably no walking. I gotta give my feet a rest. I don't even think I should be doing any what's the word? Spinning too, because I have a spinning bike. But maybe I can do like some light exercises, like some foot stretches, some mobility stretches, and then just kind of leave it at that. So there's one thing I can work on. Um, any other fleeting topics within the past couple of days? I heard Lil Boozy had cancer. That's unfortunate. No, I don't think he did. I lied. I lied. I don't know if that's true. But what was Little Dizzy? Okay, apparently he had kidney cancer, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to spread misinformation. So there's that. That's unfortunate. Hopefully he gets over his afflictions. And so yeah, let's get into am I overreacting or am I the asshole? I kind of like am I overreacting? You know what I mean? I think one of the reasons why is because it's interesting to see people's point of view, and some text messages are interesting as well. I saw this notified in my email address. I saw this was sent to me as an email of like, here is a subreddit that you're into and this is what they're talking about. So I might do this one because it seemed interesting, but there's just like a lot of text messages. Am I the am I overreacting? My friend set an ultimatum because I drank. I think the scenario is that this is an underaged individual. Okay, so I'm 18 and I drank last week. 18. Okay, so already that might not be the best idea. Realistically, like we're human, so you know you shouldn't be drinking at all, but you know, shit happens and people drink anyway, so it is what it is. But 18 is okay, let me read this because I actually have a story time. I used to be in college. I used to be the person who was always like finger wagging at my friends that they should not be drinking at like 18. But the thing is that like underage drinking, especially at college, it's like insanely common. So you shouldn't really be surprised. But it's so crazy to see in another universe, like, or like fast forward, like some 5, 10 years later, as there's been a constant push for people to be more modest and a little bit more conservative, not just politically, but socially, that there are people nowadays like clocking their friends for doing what like I would expect dumb college kids to do as soon as they get out of the house, which is like illegally drink or underage drink. Like that is crazy. That is wacky because I used to do that when it was cool to do all this shit. You know, when it was like the party era, early 2010s, mid 2010s, I was on that time. And then I went out to a bar one night and that all changed. Oh my god. Oh my god. So it's interesting to see that there are like other kids nowadays, like 18-year-olds clocking their friends. Um, I'm of the personal belief that if you're like 18, you probably shouldn't be drinking, though, I'm not your mom and you're probably going to do whatever you want anyway. 18 to 21, those are like very important years for you to like grow as an adult. So I would say, for the sake of your development, you should wait until you're 21. But if you don't, like it's not uncommon for 18-year-olds to drink. It's just I would like if I found out you were 18-year old, I would not give you any liquor. No, we are getting crunk off of that Hawaiian punch. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So, because I don't want to get in trouble for that shit. A lot of parents get in trouble for like hosting kids' parties and letting their teenage kids underage drink. Like, I'm not, that's not gonna be me, even though I'm not a parent, but I don't want to be held liable for that. And also, I'm of the belief that you should probably prolong any like vices as long as you can so that you're closer to like having a decent like frontal lobe development, right? So you might not want to like vape and smoke whatever you want and drink like closer to 18 than to like 25, right? So you don't want to be a teenager. You shouldn't be a teenager doing those things, not because they're bad for you, but because you're probably not allowed to do them, but also because they're very addictive and they can like fuck up with your brain. And so that if you're gonna do any of that stuff, I would wait till you're closer to 25 than you are to 18 or around the 18-year-old area. So, okay, let's read the story so we understand what's going on. I'm gonna read the context and then I'm gonna read the text messages, okay? Okay, so I'm 18 and I drank last week. I told my friends and they were pretty upset. I'm in the US for reference, Utah specifically. Oh, yeah, Utah. I remember Kesha toured in August and she went to Utah and there were videos of like a bunch of like teenagers, Zoomers with their arms crossed. Like, what the hell is this? Where's the Benson Boone? We all got that ex-Mormon trauma and it's less common to drink here. Okay, so that puts things into perspective. I was planning on doing it again this Halloween and did end up doing it. Okay. So already, like, you're 18, so you probably shouldn't be doing this, but you live in Utah, so this is setting up a good like context for what's gonna happen. I told them I wasn't, so they wouldn't contact authorities or my parents if they knew. Oh, they're rats. These guys mean a shit ton to me. They were there for me through a horrendous breakup and a good amount of bullying from last year, and it always makes me angry. Some underage drinking is all that it takes for them to decide they don't want to talk to me anymore. Am I at fault here? I don't feel like it's as big of a deal as they made it out to be. I was safe. We had a designated driver and all of that. Specifically, one of them is the most gentle and kind person I know. They've all associated with drug user. Wait, wait. See, okay, when I was talking to my friends when they were out partying and drinking and stuff, it wasn't like I was like coexisting with like DRUG users. No, my friends were clean cut around the time. Cookie cutter, clean cut, okay? They've all associated with drug users in the past and were chill about it. But I guess it makes sense because we're pretty close. Some of them expressed like last week they'd be fine with me doing stuff as long as it's not around them. But I think the one who was all for no contact, if I continued, convinced the others. Ooh, I hate that. I hate that. I hate that one friend that has more influential weight than the others and just convinces the whole group to not like anybody anymore. Ooh. weird friendship politics. It makes me emotionally angry and emotional and angry. I don't know. Most people I talk to about it say they're being controlling. Would I be in the wrong to just not tell them? At the moment, I'm considering just letting them be without explicit cutting letting them be without explicitly cutting them off. I've lost so many people these past years and I'm tired of dealing with conflict. I can understand the boundaries, but this seems extreme. TLDR, my friend said if I drink again, they'll cut me off. All right, so let's read the messages. Don't already, we're coming in hot. Don't drink, please. We'll see you in Saturday. Okay, see you Saturday. I second that. Please have a safe and sober Halloween. Okay, why are we yelling? Okay, so one thing I will say, because last Reddit Story Sunday, I said how I don't think emojis are weird to me, but caps lock and the thumbs up emoji. So I don't think like text emojis are weird to me. Like if you do a colon and a parentheses for a smiley face or a semicolon parentheses for a smiley face, I'm not gonna find that weird, right? But the emojis I feel that are passive aggressive as hell, all right, is the thumbs up emoji. Don't give me the thumbs up emoji. I think that you're like bluffing me and you're being passive aggressive as fuck. And then the caps lock. If you're texting me in caps lock and it's not a typo, I it feels like you're raising your voice at me in text lingo. I don't know. I understand we all make mistakes. However, underage drinking is a mistake you can only make once. Whoa, whoa, whoa. If you drink again, I don't want to be around you anymore. Okay, okay. Tell me you will not be doing that. I love you. I can't promise anything except I'll be safe. You are in full control of your decisions you make tonight. That includes choosing to drink today or ever until you're an adult. What I'm trying to say is that you can't compromise. You can't promise us that. You just have to say no. You are very much in control of what you drink. I am in control. I don't think I'll come into contact with alcohol tonight. I'll keep you guys updated. I don't want to lose you guys, but I also feel safe exploring this part of my life right now. I've seen people drink safely, and I felt safe when I did it. I have limits and boundaries with myself. I'm very paranoid about becoming an alcoholic myself, so trust me when I say I'm going to be careful as I can. I'm glad you feel safe, but that does not change the permanent altercation of your brain if you drink too much and too early in life. Okay, so this person's right. That's why I say if you're gonna do these vices, you want to wait closer to like when the brain has, developed than like before, because it could really f you up. But let's just keep reading. Be careful as you can be. You can be is just not coming to alcohol with coming into contact with alcohol at all. Okay, be careful as you can be. It's just not coming to contact with alcohol at all. Okay, they're saying if you want to be careful, it means that you can't come in contact with alcohol. Okay, I understand. I'm sure if you feel differently, but I'm going to stand down on this opinion. I love you so much, but I don't want you risking an addiction of any kind. Oh, I understand. I know where you stand. Okay, I just want you to know that this stance is not going to change, nor will my love for you. I agree here. Any underage drinking is reckless. I'm not comfortable associating with it if it happens multiple times. It's illegal and has psychological effects. If other people want to do it again and you choose to do it as well, I won't be okay with that. All right, it feels like they're gang piling on this person. Let's keep reading. I understand you guys. I know it'll be no contact deal, no contact kind of deal. Is that what you guys are saying? Like if I end up drinking again? Yes, from all of us. All right, I'm going home. I'm not drinking. I'm proud of you. Once you're 21, it doesn't matter to me. At that point, it's safe. We just love you so much that it's not healthy for any of us to see if you're doing that. We want you to make good choices. We want to protect your peace. Have you smoked weed? Yeah, I didn't really feel it though. That's not the point. When did this happen? Okay. Same time I drank. I don't really need to know if you're disappointed in me and stuff. I'm sure you are, like genuinely. I just need to know if we can still talk. If we can, I don't need to know anything. That's polysubstance use. This is your last chance for real. If any drugs happen again, we will cut you off. We love you, but it's ultimately 100% a hard boundary. Okay. Read everything. I know the context. All right. So are they overreacting? My friend set an ultimatum because I drank. No. I don't think it's an overreaction as much as it might come to the point where you guys might see a difference in opinion, and y'all might not end up being friends anyway. Because what it looks like is going on right now is that you are outgrowing, like, you might be outgrowing your friends, and your friends are putting unrealistic expectations on you as a person. However, like, for example, you want to experiment with, you know, partying and whatever entails with that, and that's common for a lot of kids in college age, 18 to 21, to want to do that, right? um, and they are really on your ass about not doing those things and waiting till you're 21 and saying that they will not rock with you unless you go, if you continue to do those things, or if they find out that you're doing said things, even though you're saying that you're not gonna form an addiction from it. So I can see how, from the outside looking in, it feels as if you guys are going to separate or grow out of wanting to be friends with each other, because it seems like you're more on the exploration side and they seem to be more on like the safe side. And that's common. That happens. That'll happen to me. And that's happened to my friends. I've outgrown friends who want to go a completely opposite direction than what I'm going in, and that's just what it is. That's just life. Okay. But the reason why I'm not quick to deny your friends, and I'm not quick to be like, oh, your friends are like weird or they're overreacting, is because you are 18. And realistically, you should probably wait till you're 21 to engage and indulge in any type of substances or um, vices, beverages of the sort. Like, you really want to wait till then. So that's why I'm not willing to be like, oh no, they're overreacting, because I can understand them saying, oh well, we don't want you to be addicted to these substances. You know, underage drinking is not okay. We're not comfortable with that. We're worried about you. But the only case where I'm like, this is a little weird, and where I feel like a lot of these friends are like, there might be something like bigger going on, like they've been ready to cut this person off, off, is that they've all associated with drug users in the past and were chill about it. That's the only point where I'm just like, oh, this is a little weird. So like, it's like a rules for weed, but not for these situation. Like, it's okay for them to do it and we hung out and that's fine, but you're smoking weed and you're drinking, we can't stand for that. And maybe it might be because that person that they've associated with, they don't hold them to the same standard as your friends do. Sometimes friendship dynamics can go like that, where if you have accountability buddies, they will be like, hey, um, you know, you're my closer friend. I care about you a little bit more. I do care if you do these things. I know if I had a friend who had like really bad substance addictions, like they were, like it got bad, like they were like crackhead bad, I would be like, okay, we can't be friends until you get your shit together. Like, in all honesty, but I know in this case, it just seems a little weird. It seems like you're still in control, but in the same breath, you're also 18, so I understand where they're coming from. So my general consensus so far is I can kind of see both sides. I can see how you, OP, might feel like they're over that they aren't overreacting, because it feels like all his friends are like gang piling on them and are on their ass. But I also see the side of the friends in that they care about your well-being. You're only 18 years old. Though I don't understand how they're okay with other people that they've hung out with who are drinking or doing drugs in the past. But maybe they just hold you to a different standard as a friend. So let's see what the responses are. Caring about you and your safety is one thing, but this feels more like controlling. I had to go back and read your caption because I thought for sure you were talking about a parent or older siblings. Friends don't get to tell you how to live your life. Either what they support you or they don't. You can make your own choices, and they can make theirs, and giving each other their other input or advice is fine. This is not that. I disagree with a lot of my best friend's choices, but they are her choices. I don't love her any less for it, you know? I see the point in that. I see the point. I think where it starts to get a little like weird is when the substance addiction is like too high, because I'm not one to be like, "Oh my god, you did this weird substance at a rave. I don't want to be friends with you anymore." Like that's not me, really. Like do what you want. Um but if it gets to the point where you're in a really low place, or you literally cannot function without these things, then and you start to like act out and you get very volatile. That's when I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna have to give you some space until you get it together, or maybe I'll get you the help you need, but like we gotta get it together. As soon as it gets to like bad addiction territory is when we need to start like checking each other, you know what I mean? It's actually so gross how she berated you, gave you the ultimatum. Oh, this is a girl? I guess so. Okay, that's unfortunate. Gave you the ultimatum and then congratulated you for doing what she wanted. This is not healthy, and it sets a precedent. So now, anytime you're doing something she doesn't agree with, ultimatum, or you're out of the friend group. That's awful. You don't treat people you love this way. But they did poly substance abuse. So yeah, no, they have a point here. They have a point here. The ultimatums are weird. I do think the way her friends were talking to OP, they could have said it differently. Like, hey, it's your life. Do what you want. Just know I'm concerned about you. Be careful. You don't want to make this an addiction. I would strongly recommend you do this when you're like 21. But if you do this when you're younger, I just really want you to be careful. I feel like the delivery could have been different. But it also low key feels like they're trying to figure out how they can like gang pile on OP. To me, it feels like there is like a gang pile ultimatum. And then also, I forgot this other contextual evidence. We're in Utah. We're in Utah. That's like Mormon capital or us. Like that's where all the Mormons like thrive and exist. That's why they freaked out when Kesha performed. So yeah, it's gonna be really hard to be around people who are gonna be like, I don't care, do what you want. You know what I mean? It's gonna be really hard. Like, in my opinion, if OP was 18 and asking me for advice as a 31-year-old, I'd be like, girl, don't drink. Don't do that. It's your life, but please don't do that. You're too young. But you're 18, you're gonna do what you're gonna do. You're out of legal age to vote, but you're not of legal age to drink. So, but you're still gonna do what you're gonna do. Yeah, I don't know. I would very much so be like, don't do that, girl. You tell me you're gonna do that, I'm I'm just gonna look the other way and hope for the best. Okay. Um. Um. I know who even says that Mormons. Yeah, Mormons are really weird. I'm sorry, they're just weird. And like this whole like Mormon rebrand that we've been seeing in the past couple of years is just odd. Mormons do not like POC people. They do not like people that look like me. They don't like there is a lady on YouTube who used to be ex MAGA and ex Mormon and an ex trad wife. And I guess she's having a coming to Jesus moment because she keeps making videos about it all the time. Um, and she talked about how Mormons actually believe that they're like the superior race to like black people. Like they're actually race. They don't even hide it. They're like really not nice people. I don't fuck with Mormons. Sorry. I might get flagged for saying that. The Mormon police might be listening. The same people who invented soaking and thought it was an amazing idea. Seriously, F these people. Do these dumbasses really think it's only safe to drink at 21? Do they not realize the drinking age in Europe is 18? Yeah, yeah. My whole thing would be like if I had like an 18-year-old like mentee or like little sister, I would be like, don't do it because you don't want to develop an addiction. And if you're going to do it, just don't tell me. Please don't tell me. Cause like what do you want me to say here? Like I already told you I didn't want you to do it, but like I said, I feel like if OP was already like was in like another state or more of like a college town, they would very much so be okay with them like doing whatever they wanted. You know what I mean? Or drinking whatever they wanted. Um because they're partying all the time. That's just common. French, small glass of wine with 7 Up, but also in like Europe, the age of the drinking age is like, I thought it was 16. Age of consent is 16, and I guess the drinking age is 18. They are so grown over there. No, no, when I say grown, I don't mean grown in like screwing at 16 years old. I don't know about that, but I mean like drinking at 18. That's weird. Well, not weird. It's just like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about that. But already, like, I drink, but like alcohol isn't really that good for you anyway, so that's where I'm coming from. But dang, I don't even know where my head was at when I was 18. Yeah, I don't even know. Anyway, came here to ask this. Trying to moderate someone's safe exploration of substances can make things worse in the long run. This is true. This is true. It encourages the telling of lies that can be a slippery slope. Your kids, yes. Your friend is not the authority on this and is spouting something that they have had drummed into them by someone with zero experience or by someone with all the experience too. Like they could have had more reckless experiences than them, but regardless, they haven't had some like those experiences themselves, right? So like if your big brother is telling you, "Hey, please don't drink," and you're 18, they probably drank before and they know what it is, right? But if you're like bestie is like your age and it's like you can't drink, we're not going to be friends if you drink, then like girl, who the fuck are you? Like who are you actually? Do I know you? Like I don't know. And I also think it's important that between the ages of 18 and 21, damn, even like from 21 to 25, you go through so many changes as a person. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So that's almost like what, 8 years? Like so many changes within those 8 years. Like it would behoove of you if you were between the ages of 18 to 21 to give your friends a little bit more grace for how they live their life because they are in that exploration phase where they're not around their family or maybe their family gives them more freedoms. I don't know. As someone who used to be very judgmental herself at 18 and then went ape shit crazy in like her early to mid 20s, I just think that you should be careful with these sentiments, okay? And like trying to gatekeep who can do what and cut off people who do certain things because you don't know what circumstances you might be in 4 or 5 years from now. You know what I mean? You don't know if you're gonna be that same person 5 years from now, or you don't know if you're gonna be having brat summers all year around. You just don't know, and then you'll look back and be like, "Damn, I really wish I wasn't that hard on my friend." So that's my advice. But someone who is controlling them, don't allow yourself to be dictated by them. If they are going to disregard your own feelings, that you can safely navigate having a couple drinks and threat that you will be shunned and made an outcast if you do is totally out of order. I agree. Okay, I want to read this comment here for real. My brother and his wife live near Salt Lake City, and my brother will tell you the Mormons are literally everywhere, but really keep your 1800s traditional values to yourself. Nobody wants you pushing it on other people, just like they don't want you slamming religion down their throat or your political views. Just because someone isn't good for you doesn't mean you have the right to force it on other people. True. 100%. God, Mormons are so gross about this particular thing too. PSA, never go to the Polynesian Culture Center in Hawaii. It's not actually representing Hawaiian culture per se. It's representing a whitewashed Mormon approved version of Hawaiian culture. But of course, they leave out anything that goes against Mormon values, which, spoiler alert, was actually a lot of pre-colonial Hawaiian culture. It's so vapid and disgusting. I don't want to talk about I don't want to talk about the negative side effects of organized religion right now, particularly with Mormonism and Christian culture. I just don't, not today. Um, but it just breaks my heart sometimes. Just the amount of colonizing that has happened with a lot of religious cultures and organized religions. It's just disturbing. I was watching a video essay about like the Columbine shooting and how goths were negatively impacted by the Columbine shooting around that time, and how conservative Christians were really taking the reins on that, and using what happened in Columbine as a way to ban like Marilyn Manson, heavy rock music, like goth alternative culture. I don't know. It's just very disturbing, in my humblest opinion. And it's so sad because it can be as comical as like blaming goths for school shootings or thinking Pokemon is demonic, to being as harmful as infiltrating full communities and colonies, full communities and establishments, and rebranding them and taking over their culture and replacing it with this colonial view of Christianity and your own religion for them to be forced to follow. That's so sad to me. Okay, but enough of my TED talk. Let me read the rehab nurse's comment. I am a rehab nurse, and we definitely use that, but not for harmless teenage drinking and weed smoking. LOL. That's for people who come in and their drug screens light up like a Christmas tree with everything from here Erewhon to F and whatever. Obviously, yes, alcohol and marijuana are technically gateway drugs, but I know plenty of people who use both responsibly and not to excess. Yeah, just like I know people who immediately spiraled into addiction and harder drugs. Your friends crossed the line from concerned loved ones to controlling asshats. Yeah, I feel like the friends could have framed it a certain way. They could have been like, hey, it's your life, but please be safe because you are 18 and you're not legal enough to drink. But if it's an addiction for you, we're not going to be your friend anymore. Like, that would make more sense. Like, as long as you're safe and you're okay, that's fine. But not like, if you drink tonight, we're not friends anymore. But I guess my ultimatum would be like, if you go out and you do party and you do drink and do whatever, as long as you don't get addicted, that's fine. If you do get addicted and it gets really bad and you start doing all this other crazy shit, we can't be friends. And I think that's fair. And when I say like doing other crazy shit, because like people are gonna do what they want to do, and I'm not gonna be judgmental, but it's like you develop an addiction from it. That's where I'm like, okay, we can't hang out, girl. I usually read the text threads before the explanation, and I thought that was the weirdest way to phrase that. Multi-substance or compound substance abuse were what made sense to me. And it made so much more sense after I read they were from Utah. Oh, yeah. I didn't know Utah people are like this. Yeah, this is so gross. Paternalistic and condescending is the word. 18 is the legal drinking age. No, wait. No, it's not. No. It's 21. That's wrong. That's wrong. But not in the US. And shit happens. You aren't going to see a judge in Germany. And when shit happens, you aren't going to see a judge in Germany. Yeah. I could also argue that your friends probably, like, if your friend was like, hey, can you not drink between the ages of 18 to 21, or until you're 21, because you could get arrested. Like, I could see that. Like, I could see their friends being like, hey, I'm worried about you drinking at 18 because you could potentially get arrested. What are your thoughts? But not in a condescending way. But it seems like they cared more so about whether like OP drinking as like a moral compass and not so much as like the actual ramifications if they do start drinking at 18 and they get caught. All right. Am I overreacting for blocking him because he said he doesn't care about what I feel when I am sick? Dang. Let me click on this. Okay, I'm having fever shivers. Go take cough medicine or flu medicine. I'm home. You ignore my text, so I'm not calling. You ignore my text most of the time and still never answer your calls. No, I don't. I'm working or taking a nap. Okay, enjoy napping. Nope. For context, this guy I've been talking to for about 3 months lives around 13,000 kilometers away from me. Okay, 13,000 km to miles. So that's 8,000 miles. 8,000 miles on a map. I just need context. Oh. Oh, that's far. Wait a minute. You see that? Yeah, that's really far. Well, this is Europe, to be fair. But okay, but look, you can go around town, around the whole country in 8,000 miles. So y'all are far away from each other. We have 12-hour time difference. Okay, yeah, all right. 12-hour time difference. Y'all are far. He's actually planning to come visit next month with his friends. Our daily routine has been pretty consistent. He calls me after work. We FaceTime. Sometimes he takes me out virtually when he gets food. And every weekend we have movie dates. It's been nice and consistent, and we've been pretty close. I find it interesting that long distance relationships have become more popular because before the pandemic, I don't think they were that popular. And I think after, because everyone was at home, it just got easier to just meet people online and talk with them. Earlier today, I told him I was sick. I didn't respond to his text for a while because I genuinely wasn't feeling well and needed to rest. A few hours later, he texted me saying he wouldn't call me because I ignored him. At first, I assumed he might just be tired or in a bad mood, so I didn't take it personally. I decided to call him, and he was about to leave to get food, which is unlikely for him because he normally takes me out whenever he goes to the store. When I asked why he didn't want to call me, he said it was because I ignored him. I explained I wasn't ignoring him, I was really sick. The conversation ended up turning into an argument that went back and forth. Eventually, I told him I wasn't going to force him to take care since he hadn't even asked how I was feeling. I said I didn't care anymore if he was mad, and he said he didn't care either about how I felt. At that point, I just said okay, hung up the call, and blocked him. Now I'm wondering, was I too harsh for blocking him right away, or was I justified after how he responded? He is overreacting. Cause like, girl, listen, y'all are already doing like weekly FaceTimes, movie dates. He's taking you out whenever he goes and gets food. Topping on the fact that you guys are in a 12-hour time difference, long distance relationship where y'all are 8,000 miles away from each other. Um, um, yeah, some time conflicts are going to be happening, right? Like, you're probably not going to be able to hit up every time he goes and gets food. You're probably not going to be able to eat with him on every movie date if y'all have that crazy of a time difference. But more importantly, if you are sick, then it's going to be that much harder for you to hang out with him if you're not feeling well. If anything, he should be more attentive. He should be like, "Hey, Buki, you good? Um, just checking in on you." Like, so now you blocked him? You blocked this contact? And then first of all, like, I know that people do long distance relationships now, like that's more popular, but in all honesty, with the whole long distance relationship thing, sometimes they can be a little like unserious. So if already he's acting like this because you ignored his text, even though you guys have a consistent like, routine of hanging out with each other, y'all can only imagine how awful this would be for OP if they were actually together, you know? Like, this is like this is a red flag to me. But let's read some of the comments. Not overreacting. Absolutely no reason for him to behave like that. What a weenie. Weenie. Absolutely the word for this. Nope. Keep him blocked. Focus on yourself. Yikes. Keep that man blocked. 3 months, 13,000. That's what I'm saying. 3 months, 13,000 kilometers between you, and he acts like a jerk for no reason. Good fucking riddance. Yeah, it's also easier to break away from a long distance relationship if you only met them or been around them for about 3 months. You know, it would be different if you guys were talking for like years, but if it's like 3 months, girl, you can move on. It's never that serious. Um, like at least she didn't get an STI from him or has to deal with disentangling their lives. Really, it's great that the trash took himself out before it became a bigger problem. I agree because this is weird. Yeah, they haven't even met IRL. They go on virtual dates. Yeah, this is out of curiosity, why would you imply that two people deciding on a time to spend together, even virtually, would not count as being a date? Sure, okay, we're having different arguments here. Surely, if both people were in agreement that it constitutes as being a date, it is, in fact, a date. There are a lot you can criticize regarding OP's partner or situationship, but it seems in poor taste to bash them for it being online or long distance. I agree. I found my current partner via interwebs, and I would argue we were going on dates long before we even met each other in person for the first time. We live together happily now. Yeah, this is the new normal. I'm into it. I've always been a fan of long distance relationships, but now when they're like this is the red flag. OP needs to end it. Because if we're already acting weird 3 months into the relationship with a 13,000 kilometer time distance or distance away from each other and a 12-hour time difference, and you ignore them once because you're not feeling well, that's weird. Just cut them off. That's controlling. So yeah. Okay, let's see here. Am I overreacting for leaving my best friend's birthday dinner after she forgot to save me a seat? Ooh, I like me a birthday dinner drama. Some folks really take birthday dinners really seriously. Like they, first of all, first of all, with like birthday dinners, okay? I know it's your day as like the birthday girl or the birthday boy or the birthday person, and you want to spotlight and highlight and celebrate your day. But but the world don't revolve around you, Bookie. It does not revolve around you. And so expecting a bunch of people on your day to pay their own money to celebrate your day, especially in this economy, for a dinner that y'all have to decide whether you're gonna split it equally a few ways or like the server has to put specific orders on certain bills already, and you being entitled AF and you being like, well, it's my birthday, you have to do that. Like, I don't know, that's weird. All right. I also think it's weird when we have the conversations of who's showing who up at a birthday dinner. Like the birthday girl is supposed to wear a specific outfit or a special color, and then nobody shows her up because then it gets very dicey, right? Especially if there isn't a dress code. If there's a dress code of like wear black or wear blue, and then the birthday girl wears white or red, like that's one thing, right? But if it's a matter of you have no dress code and you're over here wearing your best whatever, right? Like your best Gucci, your best Zara, whatever's in your closet, and the birthday girl looks busted and disgusted. Like that's their problem. They should have set up a dress code and maybe got a stylist for the day if it really was that big of a deal. You know what I mean? Um, well, I don't know, dude. Birthday dinners are just weird. I'm also the type to be like, if I want to really celebrate with my friends, I'll meet them where they're at. So if it's cheaper for us all to have a birthday party at someone's place and we all bring food, let's do that. If it's cheaper for us to, if it's more cost effective for us to like pitch in $5 and we get like pizza or something, and then we just watch funny videos online or like interests, learn about other people's interests, we can do that. If we go to an arcade and everyone kind of pays for themselves, we can do that as well. Like, I don't know, birthday dinners never need to be this complicated. But for whatever reason, they always are. And then if it's a matter of like, okay, I want to go to this place on my birthday, for me personally, not other people, and I want a group of friends with me, first of all, I'm not doing a group of friends. I'm doing like 1 to 2 friends. I'm doing 1 to 2 friends only. 2 friends tops. Okay? One's a party. Okay, two's a party for a birthday dinner, including the birthday girl. Okay, three's a crowd. That's when it gets too crazy. After three, it's like I don't know. It's getting weird. Unless it's like my really close friends, where we usually go out to dinner anyway, and things are fine. So there's that. But let's read about this birthday dinner. Um, yeah, let's read about this birthday dinner. So, am I overreacting for leaving my best friend's birthday dinner after she forgot to save me a seat? So, my 27 male best friend. So, I'm 27 male, okay? And my best friend, I'll call her Anna, 28 female. So, we're grown. Okay, we're getting grown. Okay, had a birthday dinner last weekend. It was at the spot we've been a couple times, and they don't take reservations, but it's really nice. Anyway, the plan was for us to get there early, grab a table, and then everybody else would come over. I told Anna I'd be running about 10 to 15 minutes late because of work. She said no problem. When I got there, the table was completely full. Not just full, like it was completely packed. She had bumped into a few old friends and invited them to join. When I showed up, there was literally no seat. I just stood there awkwardly while Anna laughed it off and told me just grab a chair from another table. The restaurant was slammed. The staff wouldn't let me block the aisle. Okay. Long story short, I felt humiliated. Aw, I felt humiliated. No. I would have got you a chair. I would have got you one of those Amazon stools and sat you down and been like, here you go, king. I don't know why, but it just felt so awkward and I felt no respect. So I just said, don't worry about it, I'll head out, and I left. Anna texted me later and said I was overreacting, making her look bad for walking out of there. She said I should have just dealt with it because it was her night. See, no, they don't have to deal with it. They really don't. That's the hook. That's the hook, line, sinker. Just because you get to cross the sun another year, you don't have to make it everybody's business. Yes, it's lovely to be another year older, another year wiser, but like life moves on. Like I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. I don't know. She said I should have just dealt with it because it was her night. I'm not sure what to do. On one hand, I know it was her birthday and maybe I should have just swallowed it. On the other hand, being invited to a dinner and then having not lit and then literally not having a seat feels embarrassing at least. Am I overreacting for walking out? Oh god. This is tricky. Maybe? Out of context, maybe. And then you might also be overreacting a little bit because you could have like pulled Anna to the side and been like, "Hey, I really want to spend time with you, but there really is no chair. So can you speak to the wait staff to get a chair for me, so I can sit down? Otherwise, I'm gonna leave." Maybe you could have had that conversation with her. Um, but then again, Anna just brushing it off and being like, "Oh, girl, you're fine. It'll be okay. Just find a chair and hang out with us," right? Like that's a little bit weird. I don't know. If you're my bestie, I'm gonna be like, no, we're gonna find a seat for her. Like it's kind of like having a party at your house. Like even if it's your birthday party, you're still technically the host. So you kind of have to make sure everybody's good, right? You gotta make sure everyone's having a good time, everyone's fed, everyone's accounted for. And so if that means like, hey, like in this case, even though it's your birthday dinner, if it means like not everyone's getting a seat, I feel like even as the birthday girl, you should probably just find your friend a seat, especially if that's your best friend. That's why I say only 2 to 3 people at a birthday dinner, because two's a party, but three's a crowd. Okay. After that, it gets crazy. We can do a shindig at somebody's house, but like a dinner, no. And then who splits the bill? How? In what ways? Like how are we doing this? No, 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 no. She said I should have just dealt with it. You did and you left. Yeah. I also think that Anna was a little bit rude in her response by saying he was overreacting and making her look bad because it was her night. Again, the world doesn't revolve around you because you passed another year around the sun. Okay, that's what people do. People get older, people celebrate birthdays. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I'm the bearer of bad news. But maybe I don't know, because I'm very like intimate when it comes to my birthdays. Like I just like to spend my birthdays with my closest friends and that's it. And then if we have a big party, I invite some people over and then it is what it is, right? I think it's in this case, if you're like a socialite, it can get a little tricky. But I just feel like I don't know. Birthday dinner drama gets too complicated sometimes. Maybe we need to go back to just having like home parties where we all like potluck suppers, dinner parties where we all bring something and we hang out at someone's house and we just enjoy each other's company there, or hang out at someone's apartment. It's more cost effective for one. It's a lot more intimate for two, and then you don't have to worry about who sits where through three. Okay, you don't have to worry about like, oh, so and so doesn't have a seat. You know what I mean? If this is your best friend, you probably should save him a seat. Or regardless, if even if they're not your best friend, I think at the very least, you as the birthday person who's hosting this dinner and wants everybody to come, you want to make sure people are accounted for. You do. You do want to make sure people are accounted for. So, and you want to make sure everyone has a seat, and you want to make sure that the wait staff is aware of how many seats are available. So, yeah. And then also, you're coming home from work. Yeah, ain't nobody got time for this shit. I'm going home. One of the hardest lessons to learn is that your best friend ever may consider you a second or third tier friend. That sucks. Damn. That would really suck. Yep, I've been there. I wasn't as tall, wealthy, and socially connected as my best friend's other friends, so I'd be ignored at parties and would end up sat at his mother's table at events. Oh my god. Oh no, Sigma poster. I'm sorry. But when it was just the two of us, he'd go on and on about how we were such great friends. And when he needed help moving or lugging stuff to the dump when he renovated his place, I was who he turned to. Ooh. Then cell phones came around and we'd be hanging out, but he'd be talking to his other friends on the phone instead of me. Ugh, that sucks. And we'd walk alone. We'd be walking along while I got to listen to him, having a much better time chatting to them than he did with me. That's rude. That is rude. I had a friend do that to me once. Like, they were on their phone while I was talking to them, and I just, like, completely shut down. Because, like, you're not going to disrespect me. Like, do you want to be on your phone? That's fine. That's fine. I can go home. I'm good. Apparently, I was a drag. I was in therapy at the time, trying to overcome severe social anxiety, but my closest friendship was just making me feel like even more of a loser. It wasn't hard to just ghost him after that. I'm not even sure he noticed. I'm sorry this happened to you. Some people just suck. Aw, thanks. As I wrote it, I was thinking, wow, I sound so bitter. But it was a life lesson to not put energy into relationships that don't work for me. And other than the free labor, I obviously wasn't the kind of friend he needed either. I have much better friendships now. Good for you, Raven. Or Ravian? Ravian or Raven. Good for you. Good for you. Let's see some other comments. I had a mate once who I thought as an experiment, I'd wait to see if he'd call, text me without me having to text him first. That was 11 years ago, and the experiment is still running. No. No, these friendship dynamics are interesting. I was a bridesmaid for a friend, and almost all the other bridesmaids except one were her sorority sisters. Huh? Yeah. Guess who got stuck sleeping on a shitty pull-out couch while everyone else had beds and I paid the same amount? The bride, my friend, said nothing. We weren't friends for much longer. Wait a minute. Wait, hold on. Okay, because, like, what race are we? Because the black sororities, the black sororities, it's a little different. Like, when you are a part of a black sorority, I feel like it's like you're locked in for life, forever, your connections, right? Not that it's okay Not that it's okay for you to treat any of your friends like shit, but like the community for black sororities is a lot stronger than white sororities. Like white sororities is all about college, all about college, all about college. After you get out in the real world, no one really cares. They're in the hallway doing the weird chants, Bama Rush, all of that, you know, but nobody remembers you after the fact. But that's so shitty. Now, if I have a bridesmaid, I'm gonna make sure everybody's comfortable and everybody knows where they're staying and everyone everyone gets to sleep comfortably. I suffered the pull-out sofa and left after they told me. I didn't pay my share because I didn't stay. It was back in the days before Venmo. Even though I had no bed and the sofa bed springs were exposed, they were still harassing me for payments for months. I found out that I was the only one expected to reimburse the bridesmaid and the bride. The place was under her uncle's and she got it for free. Ew. Okay, why are weddings so complex when you're a part of them? That's just a little side tangent, but I really gotta know, why are weddings this complex? Why aren't things like accounted for and people are accommodated decently? I wouldn't mind being a wedding guest, right? Like you're invited to this wedding, come sit and join the event, go to the reception, you know, eat, have a fun time. Like, I'm okay with that. But to be a bridesmaid, it just gets more and more complicated. I don't know, y'all. Unpopular opinion. Part of the reason why I don't really want to get married is because, like, it's for all these gyrations for one day. Really, for one day. All these movements and gyrations for one day. It would be cool. It would be cool to be a makeup artist for a wedding. That would be really cool. But as far as being a part of a wedding, no, thank you. It would depend. My friend, like, I'd have to be really close to the bride. You need new friends. Your bestie is not your friend. She doesn't even like you. Yeah, or she's just like really entitled. Like if that's my best friend, I'm gonna make sure everyone has a seat, everyone's comfortable. I'm also another thing that I'm probably gonna do as a birthday girl is I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna mingle with everybody. Okay, I'm gonna mingle with the old friends. Then I'm gonna talk to the besties. Then I'm gonna talk to the people over there. See, that's another thing. Like no one thinks about the logistics of a birthday dinner, right? Because you guys are sitting at this long ass table. Probably no reservations. So already we messed up because we don't have any reservations at this place. Long ass table. You're the birthday girl. Where are you sitting? Or birthday person, birthday boy, whatever. Where are you sitting? And then who are you talking with the most? Because if I'm all the way like at the end over here, right? And you're talking with like your old school like besties over here, like what is the point of me being in this birthday dinner? Like I could have just sat at the restaurant and ate on my own. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Am I harsh for saying that just because someone makes it another year around the sun, it doesn't mean that people get to be assholes? Like, it doesn't mean that person gets to be an asshole to you, and it doesn't mean they get to act entitled as fuck during a birthday dinner. Like, am I a dick for saying that? I don't think so. I don't think I'm a dick. Seriously, it's amazing when so many Redditors claim someone is their best friend when that person doesn't even like them. I remember a post where a person claimed someone as their best friend and they weren't even in the wedding party but being given the work of maid of honor. Huh? Oh, hell no. Absolutely not. I don't get it. Have some pride and open your eyes. These people are barely your friend. Yeah, like, I'm not doing no work and not being a part of no wedding. Are you kidding me? If I'm doing all the work, you best believe that I'm going to be a part of the wedding. When people are raised with and are so used to being treated so poorly, it feels normal. Abuse and indifference feels like love, and sometimes even love and care can feel even more dangerous and unsafe because what is the price I have to pay later for is kindness? What is the price I have to pay later for is for this kindness? Let's read that again. What is the price I have to pay later for this kindness? Yeah. Okay. Yep, this is my experience. Was about mid-20s before I realized that I inherently pushed away loving and caring people out of feeling unease. because no one ever showed me anything similar to that in my entire life, not once. It was foreign, uncomfortable, and very raw. Pretty sure maintaining those relationships are the only reason why I ever had a moment of clarity. One of my friends growing up was the sweetest, most caring person you could ever imagine. I found it hard to be around at times because, and to this day, still feel this way. I feel like she was way too good of a person to be around me. There was always a lot of love from that friendship, but more like sibling energy. She still feel like a dropkick around those kinds of people, or an alien at best, knowing they couldn't comprehend the lack of love, extreme abuse, chaos, and all the negative shit I dragged behind me. Grew up in an abusive house that nearly destroyed me into adulthood. Still struggling to get out. Addiction problems, lack of resources, mental stability. People already riding the poverty line while all the resources tied up and managing at the fucking day. The baseline feelings are foreign. I'm not an unhappy person. Okay, this is a lot. This is a lot. We're trauma dumping here. I understand. I understand. I hope you got. I hope you've healed several turnip, but that's not the vibe we're doing today. Okay. It's not that easy. If someone has 2 to 3 friends and one of them is the best, maybe they don't talk as often. Maybe they don't know much about each other, but that's their best friend. Then on the other hand, they could just be a really good acquaintance. Yeah, I have some friends back at like where I used to grow up in Connecticut who still identify me as their best friend, but we don't talk at all. And I really like I low key don't identify them as mine. And I'm just like, oh, okay, that's cool. Like it used to be a really big deal for me when I was a kid, but now it's just like, yeah. And that's how you see me. That's how you see me. I'm okay with that. Am I overreacting by not going on a second date because of this? First date with a guy, 32 male, and we hit it off pretty fast. One day this account will die. That's a creative name. That's a creative name. We were laughing a lot, bonding over cultural similarities, our values align, etc. Then in passing, he mentioned that his relationship was 8 years long. I said, oh, were you married? And he hesitated before saying, no, I wanted to, but there were familial differences we couldn't get past. And he explained more after I asked if he could elaborate. The explanation was totally understandable, but during his explanation recollection of events, he kept calling his ex baby girl over and over. Examples, I would tell her, baby girl, can we figure it out? I said, it's your decision, baby girl. I was thinking, baby girl, you need to be sure about me. I was turned off all of a sudden and no longer wanted to go on a second date with that man. It's not because we were talking about exes, it's specifically because he kept calling her baby girl and that they only broke up a year ago. Is this stupid for me to think for me to drop a guy over? I can't tell if I'm being ridiculous or if it was actually odd behavior on his part. Um, um, no. Like, you're in the first date phase. Like, like, that's your business. If you want to not have another date with him because you feel like he's still attached, um, that's fine. Personally, I feel like someone who's in an 8 year long relationship, it's gonna take months, maybe years upon years to get over that person. I don't think they should be quick to going into dating after a year if you had an 8 year long relationship. Okay. Um, so yeah, no. I think I think some women would tolerate more. But I actually respect OP for being like, you know what? I'm gonna drop this guy because I didn't like that he called his ex baby girl all the time. Because that's her decision, that's her prerogative, and she's allowed to do that. She's allowed to have those boundaries because it does sound like he's still a little attached or he's reminiscing on a time where they were still together. Like I said, a year is way too short for y'all to be going out on another date after 8 years of knowing someone. It's like it's a really short time. I would have felt the same. Don't think I'd see him again. He's just quoting things he said to her in her past. I really don't see what's wrong with it, unless honesty is just something you want your partner to be selective about. But why relay the pet name in retelling the story? I personally feel you would leave it out. All right, I don't mean to be like gender war exes here. I'm not trying to be, but I can see how women would see this as like, okay, this is really fucking weird. Why do you keep calling her baby girl? Like, is she here in the room with us? That's weird, right? And then I can see how dudes would be like, well, I don't think it's a big deal. He's reminiscing on the moment, right? I'm not saying that either one is wrong or right. I'm just saying that, like, we're in the first date, the very first date, and if it doesn't work out on the first date, it really is okay. It's not like they've been dating for like weeks or months, so if she wants to dump him because he looked at her funny or made a really weird joke or I don't know, ate his food gross at a restaurant, like she can do that. That's fine. People do that shit all the time. Again, going back to the idea that, I appreciate OP for not settling. And if this is something she doesn't want to settle on and she wants to be like, I don't feel comfortable with this one thing, she's allowed to do that. And I feel like a lot of women are forced to just settle for less, even if it makes them feel uncomfortable, even if their gut tells them that they're not comfortable with what's going on. All right, stick with your first instinct, partly because it's an unbelievably cringe pet name, but also imagine you get together with him and he starts calling you baby girl. His ex will be all you can think of. And it probably is his pet name for all girlfriends, so this is likely to come up. Yeah, I wouldn't mind if my boyfriend would call me that, or if the guy I'm dating calls me that. But also, when you are dating, you want to make sure that you're in the right headspace where you don't feel like competition with an ex-girlfriend, that it isn't in the picture based off of a pet name that he called his ex-girlfriend, that he's probably going to call you. I would have enough confidence in the relationship to be like, what's done with them is done. That's in the past, and now what we have is what we have. This I can tell. I think it would be weird. The only whole point of dating is to see if you like them. You can dump them for any reason. It's fine. It doesn't need to be a massive thing. I think about giving him a second chance and seeing if he uses this undeniably cringe pet name a lot. If you have a few more dates and everything else about him is great, you could tell him you like him, but that you will rip his tongue out by the root if he ever utters the word baby girl again. Yeah. I don't know. Honestly, I think this is up to OP and what they're comfortable with, and it's their decision because this is the first date. I can see how some people would be like, "Oh no, she's overreacting. Like that's just what he used to call his ex girlfriend. It's never that serious. That what's in the past is in the past." I could also see how some people would be like, "Oh no, well, like he's dating her now, and he's still talking about his ex girlfriend as if it were yesterday. Obviously, he's not over her. That's weird. She doesn't need to date him." And honestly, I'm of the I believe that OP should probably just she should just do what feels right for her. Like, and whatever she's comfortable with doing, in regards to them continuing to date or not date, because this is the first time they're meeting each other, and so there's no, what's the word? There's no bad blood if you don't want to be with someone because it seems like they're still not over their ex. To me, it feels like after a year of breaking off an 8-year relationship, it seems like you're not over your ex. And then nowadays, from what I hear in dating culture, some people might be like, "Oh yeah, we broke up," and then you find out that they're still actually in a relationship with them, so they've been cheating the whole time. So it can get weird like that, which I think is crazy. Just like if the relationship isn't working, end it, and then go and be free and screw around with whomever you want to. But yeah, it's OP's decision here. I don't think she's overreacting if she feels this way. Because again, it's the first date. You're allowed to have standards. So, right, next one. Am I overreacting for being annoyed about my neighbors stealing my parking lot? Am I overreacting in med school, never mentioning having a partner? Okay, so this is new. Hopefully this reads well. Oh, we already have 5 replies already an hour ago. Okay, so my 22 female partner, 23 male. So me, 22 female partner, 23 male, moved to a different state for a medical school. So we are in a long distance relationship. He has a big friend group there, but his med school is like 70% female, 30% male. So most of his friends are girls. After making friends, there was one time he video called me while he was at school, and suddenly one of his female friends, let's call her Alexis, took the phone and started talking to me. I did not like her energy at all, and she was acting super fake to me. I told my partner I don't like Alexis, but he says that they're in the same friend group, so it's hard to avoid her. Another time, okay, okay, let me hold my tongue. Another time, the one other male in the friend group, let's call him Sam, confided in my partner that he likes Alexis. Sam asked my partner if he is interested in Alexis before he makes a move, to which my partner responded that she's not his type and she's like a sister to him. After he told me this, I was mad. First off, Sam had to ask him if he was interested in Alexis, meaning my partner never mentioned he had a partner. Considering, okay, we're doing some, we might be doing some conclusion jumping, but I get it. Considering his entire friend group is female with the exception of Sam, I found this very off-putting. It had only been a month of him in school, but I still find it odd that he would never bring it up. Yeah, I would find that odd too, I'm not gonna lie. Second, his response was that she wasn't his type. Whatever happened to him saying, dude, I have a GF, IDK, his response made it seem like if she was his type, something would have been different. Alexis' apartment is the main hangout spot for the friend group, so I always see his location there, and it rips me apart. I told him I don't like her, yet nothing's changed. Maybe if we weren't in an LDR and I actually knew her as a person, I wouldn't dislike her, but I couldn't stop thinking about it, and it's eating at me. Am I overreacting for feeling this way? Yes and no. I can see where she's coming from. If you're someone who's not used to long distance relationships and you aren't comfortable with the idea of your male partner having female friends, I can understand how you might not see this as an overreaction. However, if you're someone who is comfortable in your partner having female friends, I could see how you might be overreacting, and it might be a matter of like, oh, what if she sinks her claws into him or something, or you feel like Alexis is gonna steal this man away from you. um at this point, we might have to have a conversation with ourselves as to what might happen if the relationship falls apart because we are in this LDR. I noticed that when relationships are usually like, in person monogamy, right? And then LDR happens, the relationship gets strange a little bit. And so you as the OP might have to be ready for the idea that your boyfriend might move on. And if that's the case, you have the coping mechanisms you need to understand like this relationship might not work. Or maybe the two of you guys thug it out and you do medical school together, and then you guys end up reconnecting and being in a close relationship with each other. Um, Another thing that's off-putting is that, like, have you told your boyfriend that you're not comfortable with Alexis? Like, have you told him that? Have you sat him down and been like, hey, I don't know about this Alexis girl, she's weird. Can you, like, create boundaries with her? And if he's still not making any changes, that might be a little weird. We might have to practice some detachment, because that might mean that he's ready to, like, move on, or at the very least, he isn't respecting your boundaries as a woman in the relationship. Um, or that he genuinely is interested in Alexis. I do think it's weird that OP's boyfriend did not tell anybody, or it seems like he didn't tell anybody that he had a girlfriend when he went to this med school. Because I'm pretty sure she told any and everybody at her med school about her boyfriend. Because that's just how it goes. So that's a little weird. But honestly, if I had to give OP the best type of advice, is probably if you guys are in an LDR and you guys are focused on medical school and getting to know different communities in these medical schools, just expect that maybe this relationship might end. And don't let this consume you too much to the point where you can't even focus on your own shit as a med school student. Um, don't let that happen. Like, don't let this relationship with your boyfriend ruin your chance at changing your life for the better by entering into medical school and being a doctor, okay? And getting your degree. Okay, don't do that. So if it doesn't work out, if anything, let's just detach and just focus on that degree, because I know what is it? Dr. McSteamy? What's the name of that guy who was in Grey's Anatomy? This man, he was also in Euphoria too. He played the dad in Euphoria. Yeah, this guy. Okay, yeah, no. You might meet him at the new med school. So, yeah, just expect the unexpected or the worst, I guess. Shouldn't you just ask him why he said that? Don't say, I don't like that girl, stay away from her. Yeah, you might not want to start off that way, because it might give paranoia a little bit, but because that can sound controlling if it's not contextualized. He will not understand where you're coming from, and that could very easily push him away. Besides, it's not even the girl's fault, right? You don't like her because she makes you jealous. It's understandable. She currently gets to see him in person much more often, but that's not why you're uncomfortable. You're uneasy because of what he said. So the only conclusion here is to confront him directly about the incidents that make you feel this way. And the sooner you talk about them after they happen, the better. I'll edit. I also feel like you could be holding out on asking him in fear that the worst has to come. Yeah, but it's best to rip these band-aids off ASAP. Yeah, yeah. This is a really good take. This is a base take. I agree. When you do approach him, don't approach him with "I don't like that Alexis girl, stay away from her." That's weird in a relationship. We're putting in boundaries and ultimatums where we don't need to, because it's not Alexis's fault for your partner's wandering eye. I would pull your partner aside and be like, hey, so do these people even know that we're dating? What does that conversation look like? Why is Sam over here asking you if you should go and date, if they can go and date Alexis as like an okay, as if you don't already have a girlfriend already and you're not interested? What's the deal with that? What's going on with us? You know what I mean? I know this is tough. I know this is like growing pains in a relationship, but if anything, whatever happens from this relationship, don't crash out so badly to the point where you have to drop out of med school yourself, okay? Okay? Like, just, okay? Shields, okay? Face shields. Just focus on the goal. Finish med school, all right? McSteamy is around the corner. And better yet, maybe you don't even need McSteamy. Maybe your McSteamy is a nice high-rise apartment making $500K a year because you thugged it out in medical school, okay? Like, no, what the fuck? How long have you guys been talking together before he left? Seems like important boundaries have not been set. Yeah, it seems like the important boundaries haven't been set. And it seems like he's just complacent. Like, he's okay. I know, I think it's very weird that Alexis would just take the phone and be like, hey, girl, what's up? That's a little weird. And I'd be like, Sam, I like, or boyfriend, what's the deal with that? That's weird. Nor the three huge red flags here. One, long distance relationship. Two, not acknowledging you as a part of his life. Yeah, that's a big one. And three, he's in medical school and going into a profession where there is rampant cheating. Really? I did not know that. Oh my god. I did not know that was true. This will not end well. Damn. Laid it all out, didn't you? That's unfortunate. Um, yeah. I would just say, OP, have a conversation with your boyfriend and address the issues in a way where you're not attacking Alexis, because that could give weird, and that could make it seem like you're jealous of her, which I'm gonna assume that you probably are. But really, we want to focus our attention on the boyfriend and why he's not putting up these boundaries and why he's not letting people know, like, hey, I have a girlfriend at home. I'm good. I'm loyal to her. I'm good. Right? Um, And if the ultimatums, or if you have the conversations and you place the ultimatums where it's like, can you let people know that you're dating me, or like what's really going on? Do you want to do this anymore or not? If he does not want to do this anymore, just focus on med school. Focus on med school. Focus on med school. That's it. That's it. Am I overreacting? My family made holiday transportation plans without including my wife and I. My 37 female mother in law has always talked about wanting to go to Disneyland. My 37 female and I. Okay, hold on. Okay, am I overreacting? My family made holiday transportation plans without including my wife and I. Okay, ooh. Ooh, I've been in a situation like this. Holiday transportation plans suck. Okay, back to the story. My 37 female mother-in-law has always talked about wanting to go to Disneyland. My wife, 37 female, and I thought it would be nice to buy her and my father-in-law passes for Christmas last year, but they somehow caught word that they didn't want them. Okay, for Disneyland. Fast forward to this year, and now my brother-in-law and his girlfriend want to take my mother-in-law to Disneyland, and she happily agrees. My wife asks about the trip, and suddenly we are invited. We begin discussing travel arrangements, fly or drive, etc. It is decided that we are driving and going to take our car because it seats the most. So we've been getting the car ready for a long drive, oil change, balance, rotate tires, detail the interior. Come to find out, my in-laws, brother-in-law and girlfriend are all driving there together in a separate car without my wife and I. Ugh. So we still have to drive ourselves because there is no room for us, and now get to foot the entire bill ourselves for a trip I feel like they don't want us on. Never mind, today is Saturday and the trip is Thursday, and they probably wouldn't even have told us us if we hadn't asked. Okay. I am pissed in all honesty, and my wife refuses to understand why. We tried to do something nice for my in-laws, then they basically planned our gift trip without including us, almost going out of their oh my god. I'm sorry guys, I'm having trouble reading. All right. All right. I am pissed in all honesty, and my wife refuses to understand why. We tried to do something nice for my in-laws, and they basically planned our trip without including us, almost going out of their way to do so. Am I overreacting? No, I don't think you are. I personally think I think there is some homophobia going on. In my personal opinion, it feels like they prefer the brother-in-law and his girlfriend because they're in a straight relationship than they actually prefer you. That's what it looks like. That's what it's looking like. Because, and maybe there's more information that they're leaving out. Maybe there's more information that they're leaving out that, maybe there's some problems with your wife and her parents, or maybe they don't like you, or maybe there's been issues in the past. But I feel like OP would have brought that up in this post. So it just feels like they just like the boyfriend and the girlfriend more. They appreciate the brother-in-law and the girlfriend more. But I think it's awful that they hijack the trip idea and make it their own, and want to invite the brother-in-law and the girlfriend, and then not want to invite your wife or you to this trip. Also, your wife kind of being like, oh, it's not that big of a deal, it's fine, makes me wonder if the family just like tolerates her, and if she's okay with being tolerated in her family. So yeah, I don't think she's overreacting. I think this is a little messed up. Just don't go. Yeah, that's another thing. Don't go. It seems kind of fucked up, but maybe there is a reason. I mean, I cannot rack my brain for any that would be a good one, but maybe just ask them why. Confront the problem head on. It has to be addressed, or you'll always wonder one way or another. You don't want to fuck up a relationship if you don't have to, but it's already fucked. Might as well just find out why. There might be a misunderstanding somewhere. They might be playing favorites. They might prefer the brother more than the sister. That has nothing to do with this. Yeah, it might not even be like homophobia. Maybe I'm just jumping to conclusions. Sorry, guys. It really might just be they prefer the brother more. Or maybe the brother lives closer. Either way, it's still messed up. Or it could be like they just don't like OP. And if that's the case, they should probably like address that head on. But I don't know. You don't want to fuck up the relationship if you don't have to, but if it's already fucked, might as well find out why. There might be a misunderstanding somewhere that doesn't have to do with this, and it's not like you can fuck it up worse if what it feels like is true. They can't be mad at you for trying to fix a problem as long as you're honest, respectful, and don't get mad if they're upset with you either, with either of you. That could be a valid reason. Otherwise, blow it all up and move on. Your choice. Okay, yeah. The reason is likely they prefer their son over their daughter. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Some people are like that. Yeah, you really shouldn't play favorites with your kids. Your kids can see it. They can feel it. They can feel it. They can absolutely get mad at OP and their wife for asking about the situation. Shitty parents do that. It's wild you assume the issue is with OP and their wife, and that not letting shitty family do what they want is blow it all up. OP and wife have probably already bought their tickets for this trip. They should go and have a good time and not worry about their shitty family members. I agree. That's kind of messed up. Like, why do you prefer the son over their daughter? I want to know the reason why. Personally, I'd say nothing. OP change the dates, fly there with your spouse only. Obviously, you and your spouse were never intended to be part of this trip. Yeah, this is what I do. OP and wife should have never have their own fabulous time away. Yeah. The issue isn't the trip. There's obviously deeper issues because the parents refused to go with the daughter but happily accepted when the son offered. Cancel the trip and let the others go and work out what the real issue is. Yeah, and I don't know what the real issue is. I know I jumped the gun in the beginning, but it really could be anything. Maybe they just don't like the daughter. I don't know. But yeah, I would just say, no, I'm not going to go and go on your own time because that trip could get really awkward. When people show they don't care for you, believe them. This is their way of saying we don't want you on the trip without actually saying we don't want you on the trip. I agree that, and that is such a fucked up way to do things. That's so messy. I agree that OP and her wife should cancel the trip. No need to go all the way just to be ignored and mistreated. Whatever's going on with the in-laws, it's more than a trip. It's not about the trip. It's about the relationship. Something is off there. Okay. Or maybe they really care about their daughter or sister-in-laws in pain on trips and they're trying to avoid potential daughters. Yeah, yeah. OP is female. Thank you for the correction. I will edit my post to reflect it. Yeah, yeah. Doesn't sound like they actually like the daughter and OP. Only OP can tell us if his wife gets treated, well, OP's a woman, this badly by her family all the time, or if this is a singular instance. Personally, I wouldn't go. Both are female. I wonder if that's the crux of the problem with the in-laws. I cannot tell you how relieved I would be not to drive with my brother-in-law and other family members on the road. I agree. I'd rather take a plane. Why do you even want to join them? You can't wander around and go on all the rides together. Wouldn't you honestly just rather go on your own so you can go where you want to eat and when you want? I also agree with that too. I agree with that too. Also, Disneyland and Disney World, the lines for those parks are so long. So long. They don't have good line management. Your guys are gonna spend like 3 to 4 hours waiting for like two of the most popular rides on those parks. So, OP, I don't know. I wouldn't say, excuse me, I wouldn't say cut your family off completely. That's a little, extreme, but I would just cancel the trip and go with your wife because I do think they favor the brother more than they favor you and the wife. So, um, just let them be with them. Am I overreacting to how my brother-in-law and sister-in-law treated me after saying we wanted to move out? This is a long one. I don't know about this. Am I overreacting because my husband doesn't act my parents' death, acknowledge my parents' death anniversaries? Eh. Am I overreacting because my husband brought me one roll of toilet paper? Am I overreacting because co-worker's wife got my number? I want to read this one. This one's weird. Am I overreacting? My daughter was shamed at school for eating ham. For context, we are in Canada and my daughter is in grade 2. Today, my daughter left school crying because a classmate told her she couldn't eat ham at the school and it was bad. The classmate then refused to talk to her while her lunchbox was open. My daughter ended up not eating her lunch at all out of fear of being judged. The parent-teacher conference is next week, and I'm debating bringing this up with her teacher, as this is one of the few lunches my daughter consistently likes to eat, and she really enjoys them. But now she's too scared to bring another one to school. I think it's a matter of kids being cruel. Like, I really do. Like, just kids being awful to each other. I don't think you're overreacting. I think you have a right to bring it up. I think you have a right to bring it up at the parent teachers conference, because maybe the teacher can, observe what's going on with the daughter's bully and figure out why they don't want her eating ham, right? And maybe they can, like, solve their differences or correct their differences. But if this is your daughter and your kid, I can understand absolutely why you would feel a way about your daughter being bullied over her favorite lunch, because your kid does need to eat. They're small. They need to keep eating and fueling themselves. So tomorrow she gets a full ham hock at $20 if she eats it in front of the bully while maintaining eye contact and delicately dabbing her mouth with a fancy handkerchief in between bites. Yes. This is the thing. I see this as bullying. I don't know if the child or others could escalate and shame my daughter from eating at all at school. And this could really affect her mentally with her relationship with food since she's so young. That is true. So many concerns here. My first thought is the kid has a religious or cultural reason. That's what I thought too, that eating pork is bad and is too young to understand that. Imposing that on others at school is not okay. Maybe it's never occurred to them that their dietary requirements don't apply to others. Could this be the case? Edit. Okay, everyone. All right, never mind. I don't want to read that yet. Is there a chance the other child isn't allowed to eat ham for cult? Okay, we read that. I would at least send an email to her teacher. Waiting until the parent-teacher conference feels like too long. Yeah, I would do that too. The bully could do a lot between now and then, and I think it would be best to bring it up to the teacher's attention. I hope your baby can get past this and continue to enjoy yummy ham sandwiches. Hey, OP, I'm a Muslim woman and my kids don't eat pork. Your post made me cry like a baby, and I'll be sure to have a conversation with my kids to ensure they never harm anyone's sentiments. Your daughter deserves to feel safe and respected and to enjoy her lunch. Big hugs. Aw, that's sweet. Yeah, I know that Muslims don't eat pork. Jews don't eat pork. I think Christians can eat pork. Though I have met some Christians who don't eat pork, and then for like dietary reasons, like vegans obviously, but like people who are on like certain diet restrictions, they won't eat pork either. They'll be like, I don't want to eat pork, it's a dirty meat, and that's fine. I like me some pork. But I try to lessen the red meat because it's not the best for you, but in moderation, it's probably fine. A lot of things aren't good for you. Did the classmates say this because of their upbringing? I'd bring up at the meeting, but also encourage the kid to clarify why it's bad according to the classmate. Yeah. Or I'd ask the teacher to clarify why it's bad. All right, let me zoom up to what OP responded with. Okay, everyone. I've had a few too many overly pious. This is clearly bullying, and clearly these people haven't properly socialized their kids, or even worse, straight up racism from other isms. Ooh. Take that shit elsewhere. The kid is 7 or 8. That's pretty young. All parents may be first timers for all we know. This is normal childhood nonsense. Playground politics are a real thing. We don't know to what extent this was truly bullying, and many kids take things really hard to heart, even when the perpetrator maybe didn't even mean it in that way or hasn't had the opportunity to learn better, and can be easily and lovingly corrected. Cut everyone some slack. The above comment should be taken in its intended spirit, which was to provide a perspective that could be useful, and that's it. Please stop commenting with your damn judgments. I knew Reddit would be the place for that. No, I think OP needs to just go to the teacher, either send an email if the daughter isn't eating, or wait till the parent-teacher conference to see what's going on. And then just as the teacher to not be too rough with the kids or like awful towards the children, just to ask the kid like, hey, why don't you think so and so shouldn't eat ham sandwiches? And if it's just like because I don't like ham, not for religious reasons, then like okay, like that's fine. Let's work it out. If it's for religious reasons, again, let's just work it out too. But to load this story with a bunch of like racist and problematic nonsense is not the vibe. But yeah. So we're almost at the 2 hour mark. I'm gonna go ahead and take a break for about 10 to 15 minutes and then I will be back shortly. So I will see you guys in a moment. my God, I've been muted this whole time. Guys, how long have I been on here ranting? Oh my God, that's so embarrassing. I'm sorry, y'all. I'll be so happy when I get enough people in my chat to tell me, hey, we can't hear you. Okay, so let's start over. Let's start over, okay? So we have this dude here, and he has gotten his hair done for $200, and it seems like all that he's gotten done are these straight backs. Okay, like that's just pretty much all he's gotten done are these straight backs in his hair. And he's asking Reddit if he is getting scammed because he paid $200 for these straight backs on his head. These are, I used to call these cornrows when I was a kid. And honestly, my consensus is that yes, he has gotten scammed because who out here is paying who out here is convincing you to get paid $200 to just cornrow your own natural hair, right? And one of the biggest issues I have with a lot of these, um, new hair, not new hairstylists, but like current hairstylist climate is that a lot of them overcharge and then under deliver in quality 9 times out of 10, and a lot of them sell you false hope, pipeline dreams of if you work with me, give you a borderline sales pitch of if you work with me, I can get your hair down to your ankles. Meanwhile, you're paying like upwards $300, $400 for a hair treatment every time you go, right? And then on top of that, the professionalism just is not there with a lot of the hair salonists. Like I've heard so many girls that are getting ready to go on vacation or they have birthday dinners and the hairdressers just cancel on them. They're like, hey, hun, I can't do your hair today. Hey, hun, I'm so sorry, but I'm not able to do your hair. And then they have all these fees, all these rules, all these laws if you run late, right? Like it's just like super, super fucked up. I remember there was one hairdresser, she had to bring her kid, which is so unfortunate. If honestly, if someone was doing my hair and they had to bring their kid, I would make nice of the situation. But I can understand how someone would be frustrated where like they have to hold someone's baby while they're getting their hair done. Like, you know what I mean? It's just this lack of professionalism nowadays that we just don't have. But on top of the professionalism, the unrealistic pricing of a lot of the hairdos that are out right now. I remember there was a time, well, there's been several times where I've been scammed from hairdressers from where I live, with a la carte services of like, it's a la carte to get your hair washed, to get your hair blow dried, to get your hair trimmed, to get your hair permed and or not permed, but straightened and all that. And what would usually cost you like $100 to $120 will now run you like anywhere between $300 after you add on all of the extra charges. And so part of the reason why I got into natural hair and like revisiting my natural hair and doing more like natural hair care is because I knew for a fact I wouldn't be able to keep up with the unrealistic pricing that a lot of these hairdressers have on their clients, or give their clients. And this isn't just like a black thing. Like I hear that in like other races, like with white folks, like they deal with the same shit where as soon as prices became a la carte, as soon as things became like, as soon as people were paying like a la carte prices for getting their hair washed and then another price to get their hair blow dried from someone who's only spent all but 2 years in cosmetology school, things started to go awry and then people were just okay with it. Which I absolutely agree, because why are y'all out here paying that much money to get your hair done? To get your hair washed and blow dried? Like, it's crazy. You got like that. It should never cost that much, especially by somebody who is not skilled in like, or isn't like a luxury celebrity stylist. Even these celebrity stylists be bugging low key. They be picking favorites. They be picking favorites. They do. But yeah, I don't know. I think as things get harder for us to obtain and as things get more expensive, we all should, to an extent, learn what we can do to our hair so that we don't have to rely on hairstylists, because some hairstylists are very, very unaffordable. Some of them are unprofessional, have a bunch of fees, and a lot of the times, especially with women with fine hair like myself, a lot of them will just like overcut your hair. And I don't know, that makes me feel very uncomfortable. I'm just so happy now that I'm at a place where I know what works for my hair and I know what doesn't work for my hair. I know how to detangle my hair. I know how to, um, support my hair and make sure it's growing to the best of its ability. I'm glad that I've reached that place because I don't know, these hairdressers be bugging because for some straight backs, this is ridiculous. You should not be paying $200 for no straight backs. They're nice, but it's not worth $200 of your own hair. I'm gonna read the comments. 200 for cornrows, bro? Really? That's what I'm saying. I went to an African hair braiding salon because I was in a rush. Even then, it should be cheaper there. Usually, they're really good for like African hair braiding. They might not be good at like taking care of your hair, but they're more affordable. Okay, I think this might be the key word here. Did you book it last minute? There may have been a bit of an upcharge since they had to fit you in, and if you use multiple braiders to get it done in fast amount of time, in addition to a last minute booking, an upcharge may not be unreasonable, but 200 is a little much for the style. I would say maybe 150, but it depends. Not even 150, like no more than 100. Realistically, it should probably be $50. But it depends on where you live. Do you live in a high cost of living area? 150 to braid his own hair is way too much. It is. This shit, when I was younger, used to be like at most $60. Because I used to wear cornrows all the time as a kid. No more than $60. $60, $70. There's also some hairdressers I'd like to add in like black hair spaces who will do an upcharge if they find your texture too difficult to work with, or if you have too much hair. That I also don't agree with. That I also am not a fan of, in my humblest opinion. Like, you're the professional. You should know how to work with all different types of hair textures. And there should not be an upcharge. I'm sorry. For like any type of hair and any type of race. I'm so sorry. $200 for your own natural hair to be braided, no hair added, no need to relax or do major processes because it's just braids. I'm mad that this isn't even my head. These people are out here playing in people's faces and in their hair, okay? This could have even been 2 hours of work. I paid less for tattoos that take up more time, and I get to keep those forever. Forgive me, fam. I'm getting heated for you, and this is not even my head in any way. Call me when you need a black Karen, though. I love to pull up the stash edges. Girl, I love me a black Karen. I love me a black Karen. I do. What are we calling the black Karens? Keisha? No, but I do love me a black Karen. Especially if they come through with their Toyota Corolla or Camry with the Pixie Nia Long haircut. Don't play with her. That is the equivalent to the Karen I would like to speak with the manager haircut, okay? As soon as you see a black woman with a Toyota Camry or a Toyota Corolla boosting Anita Baker or Toni Braxton in that joint, and she comes up and she has that pixie haircut on, don't play in her face and let her have a son. Let her have a son that she calls her prince. Or her king. Do not play in that woman's face, okay? Might need you to pull up for real. Years of therapy have taught me the ancient secret and deadly technique of dragging someone for filth without raising my voice or throwing a single profane or syllable. The power of asking questions with a serious expression and monotone voice will invoke fear and shame in the spineless. Oh my God, I want to be like this. And finessers always get loud before those who use the forgotten ways. Find a woman who holds the powers of Black Karen in your area and unleash her like a cheetah when these snakes need to be called out. I would like to be that ruthless. I would like to be so serious and monotone And people just look at me and be like, okay, we're gonna give you what you want. Because you are. The fuck? At 120 at most. Did they at least put a wash and condition you? Even 120, it's crazy, bro. LaMayo, cornrows should be 60 max. That's what I'm saying. At max, cornrows should be like no more than 60 bucks. If I had to pay $200 or 120 anytime I wanted cornrows, I'm learning that shit myself. That's another thing. A lot of us need to learn how to do our own hair. Okay, we really need to do our own hair. Okay, as people are struggling to make ends meet in these tumultuous times, with the economy being incredibly chaotic, a lot of us need to just learn how to do our own hair. Because tell you what, going to these salons and paying unrealistic prices in the name of inflation, like, that's ridiculous. At most, these braids should cost $60, maybe, or at the very least, the braids should have cost $60. 100 maybe if it's a high cost of living area, but 200 is way too much, and you're just playing in people's faces. And that's the problem with a lot of salonists, is that they do play in people's faces. They get egos sometimes. They get egos when they work on a celebrity's head. There was one lady I remember. She had 20 years of natural hair experience. She was talking around circles on this one woman, this one young lady who had really long, beautiful hair and was about to reach the world record for like biggest afro. And when I tell you, this woman with 20 years of experience as salonist hacked that woman's, like, 6 inches of that woman's own hair off, maybe even more. Just hacked it off because she didn't know what she was doing. And you can tell when the consultation started, because I guess they did a consultation and then the hairdresser worked in her hair. You can tell that she didn't even know really what she was talking about, because she told the client to show up to the appointment with her hair unwashed and unconditioned. And then when they're doing the consultation and the young lady is filming it, the salon is just trying to put it on her and be like, well, you should have showed up to this appointment with your hair washed and conditioned. So now your hair is dry. So now we have something more that we have to deal with. I'm not going to let a lot of people play in my hair. I trim my own hair. I wash my own hair. I moisturize my own hair. But I've just learned, like, a lot of people just don't know what they're doing, and they're selling you hopes and dreams, hopes and dreams. You better make sure you use some good sprays and wrap your hair nice every day to get your money's worth. I agree, because this is ridiculous. It gotta last 3 months. It gotta last more than that. It needs to last 3.5 months. Never. I'm not sure about 3 months. Cornrows really start to itch about a month or so. Exactly. And that's another thing. Cornrows, straight backs with your own hair equates to like a haircut at sports cuts. And like, you can pay no more, like, at most, maybe at sports cuts you'll pay like $50 for a haircut, 40-50 bucks for a haircut. Straight back should cost you the same amount. $200 is ridiculous. I don't care how nice the parts look. So I was talking about, while I was muted, I was talking about how I can see how some people would want to pay, like, you'd pay extra for, like, for example, this has like unique parts, like these are zigzags, so I get it. Or maybe like the parts that the braid lays on are like intricate and like individually separated. So I can see how how in that instance, I can see how this might be a little pricey, and then they're also adding on hair as well. But even then, that's pushing it, because if you look at this hairdo, it's like, what, 6 big chunky braids, straight backs, and then the other braids are braided down and tied into some knots. Like, this in and of itself would cost maybe like $40, but people are out here actually charging $300, $500 for this type of do, because they slapped hair on it. So yeah, the homie got scammed. I'm sorry. They are very nice, but $200, is your hair quite short? That's the only reason that might begin to justify the price. That doesn't justify it though. I don't, like, it doesn't matter what hair texture you have, because a lot of hairdressers will um they will do an upcharge based on texture. It really doesn't, or like the length, I'll do an upcharge because of length, which I also think is stupid. You really should not be paying $200 because you just have like a tiny teeny weeny afro and you want some straight backs. I don't really think it's actually justifiable, but that might have been the braider's justification. My hair is on the shorter side. I can see at 125 at most. 125 is pushing it. Clearly, you could see because $200. Oh my god, I love Black Reddit. Clearly, you could see $200 because that's what you pay. 125, girl is giving 60 to 70 dollars. They OD'd $30 job. I agree. Scam 75 tops. They are nice, but do not go back. I'm so sorry they got scammed. This is effed up. No one deserves this. I'm gonna give it an up vote. I think I even put. Nah, I might put $75 because at most that would cost $75. Oh, these are nice. I miss getting straight backs when I was a kid. I would get them all the time, but like as I got older, I just got so out of love. Like I just did not like the straight backs. I didn't find them cute anymore. Oh, these are cute. Oh, okay. Hey, all right. These are cute. These are a choice. First time. What do you think? I mean, if you like them, I love them. You know. Oh, this is cool. So, okay, for something like this, where you're doing like crazy designs, $200, 150 up, like that's justifiable because you're doing crazy designs. You have to add hair and all of that. That makes sense, right? But if you're doing straight backs, no, not $200. Not $200. No, 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 no. And I don't like the late fee upcharge. Ooh, these are nice. He has really thick hair. I don't like the late fee upcharge. I don't like that, and I don't like it when people upcharge for hair textures and for hair. Like I just don't like the random fees. Oh, this is nice too. This is tough as well. Well, not really. I gotta learn to cornrow. I gotta learn to cornrow and how to part. I think I would be godlike if I learned that because if I can cornrow, then I could probably do crochet braids or like add crochet hair to the cornrows so that when I do go on vacation, I have like cute vacation hair to wear and I don't have to have my hair out all the time. Um, all right, let's see. Let's read some Am I the Assholes? All right. Am I the asshole? Is this the right one? Is this a new Am I the Asshole? I don't think this is the right Am I the Asshole. Am I... Alright, there we go. This is the right one. Okay, am I the asshole for telling my mom why she had kids? Ooh, what did you say, girl? I'm 17 female and still in high school and live in an area where it's really hard to get a job. I don't have a car because there's no money for driving school. Recently, my mom, 37, told me she's not going to buy food anymore because we're all grown and everyone has to buy their own food. What? Oh, this started after she asked my brother, 19, who works and also gets to use her car to get to work, to give her $100 to buy food since we rely on SNAP and the government shut it down. He refused, so she decided she's not buying food for anyone and that everyone has to fend for themselves. I completely lost it when she told me this and said, "Why did you even have kids? Why have kids if you're poor?" and just ended up regretting them. She always talks about how we ruined her life, so I just snapped. I asked why at 17, broke and having to take care of her own family, she decided to have kids anyway. She had kids at 17? Who kids that she trauma dumps on every chance she gets. She always lets my brother have his way and then gets mad at the rest of us. That's normal. That's normal for moms. I don't know what it is, but like we gotta get ourselves out of the centering men trenches, ladies. Come on. In the heat of an argument, I also told her that if she really didn't want us, she could have just aborted us and or never had us in the first place. I said that if she really wanted to punish someone, it should be my brother, since he's the one who refused to help in the first place. She went on to say, I should have. You guys are grown. I already raised you. I already raised you. I know what I said was rude and disrespectful, but it's just so hard not to be when I'm this angry and hurt. No, you're not the asshole. Because here's the thing. First of all, this pisses me off because you don't end like your job of being a parent when your kids are like in their late teens, when they're like technically legally 18 and up, right? Like you don't end your job of being a parent. Like you still have to parent your kids. And then on top of that, if you need to develop skills in your child to make sure that they are self-sufficient, but also you shouldn't expect them to support you when they did not ask to be here, especially at as young of an age as 17 and 19, when they themselves are just trying to get their footing on the ground and just learn how to be adults and just learn how to be independent on their own. That is entirely unfair on them. They're already at a disadvantage because not only do they have to figure out how to care for themselves, but they also have to figure out how to care for your ass. Because why is your 19-year-old son giving you $100? This also goes to show that the 19-year-old brother is working and he still has to use SNAP benefits. Yeah, a lot of people who are on SNAP aren't quote-unquote welfare queens, okay? They're not lazy asses, okay? They work and they're struggling. I know what I said was rude and disrespectful, but it's just so hard not to be when I'm this angry and hurt. Like, I understand. And I agree with I agree with OP. I think a lot of women's lives would be saved, or things would have panned out differently for them if they just went through with unaliving the kid. Not even unaliving the kid, just go through the abortion. I know that sounds awful. When you say unaliving the kid, but what I really mean is like terminating the pregnancy, going through the abortion, because you can't raise the like you're raising these kids and you're setting them up for failure, and now they have the burden to struggle with how they're going to feed themselves because your son can't give you $100. Like, do you work? Do you work? Do you work? Why aren't you working to support these kids? Like, your job as a parent at 37 does not end because your kids are 17 and 19. And quiet as it's kept, at 17, realistically, yeah, you probably should have terminated that pregnancy. You weren't ready to have those kids. You weren't. And now they have to struggle. And this is how poverty happens, which is why I'm convinced a lot of the reasons why they say they want to ban abortion isn't because they care about life. Because if they cared about human life, they would be feeding the kids with the SNAP benefits. Since the government had shut down, right? They would figure out a way to feed the damn kids and rely on SNAP, right? So no, they don't care about these kids. They never cared about these children. And the most nefarious way as possible. And I do believe that they encourage women to have babies and use religious moral compasses as a means to why as a reason as to why you need to have babies, to keep more and more people in poverty, more desperate, and able to take scraps or any type of job in order to survive. It's a lot harder for you to accomplish monumental goals in your life if you are struggling to take care of children in the process, because they will always come first. It's a lot harder for you to get access to ways of wealth and stability if you have to account for children in your life. So what do they say? Not the asshole. You're not grown. You're a minor. She is legally and morally responsible for you. If you're that fed up with her, call CPS. That is one thing you could do. But here's the thing about CPS. They might put you through the system. See, and that's another thing. You've got Child Protective Services putting kids through the system so that they end up as workers or end up through the criminal justice system and inevitably ending up as, like, working for slave wages. um that's just how it is. We have CPS with us. They don't help us with our financial situation. They help a lot with bringing me to appointments or providing clothes and stuff. That's good. You're not notifying them about your family situation. This time you're notifying them that your parent is refusing to provide food for you, a minor child. CPS cannot force a mother to buy food for her children, and they have to be showing signs of starvation or at the very least malnutrition in order for them to be removed from the home. I wish I was making this up, but I'm speaking from experience. It is usually against CPS policy to remove children from their homes for food insecurity. Wow, as that would be unfairly targeting the poor. They can provide help, and even if the mother refuses to utilize that help, they have to document that as a pattern over several months, not a one-time event. Is a parent telling a child they're not going to provide for them anymore considered psychological abuse or neglect? I do not believe CPS would shrug a shoulder at a mother refusing to buy food for their kids. This is awful. This is neglect for your kids. Y'all need to learn how to stop having kids, bro. You do. Because it's only going to get harder and harder. Like, if you want kids and you've prepared yourself and you know all the intricacies and the big life decision you are making with having children, and what it's going to require out of you to have a child in this world, go ahead and have a baby, and you can financially support the kid as well, and you have a community and a support system and all of that, go ahead and have a baby. But if you are at a severe disadvantage, if you are under the age of 18, dare I say realistically like 25, I don't mean to age people up, but 25, like, but if you're just not in any way, shape, or form ready to have a kid, you really shouldn't be having these children. You're putting yourself at a disadvantage, and you're putting these kids at a disadvantage too. They're stressed out with you, and you won't do your job as a damn parent because you don't have $100, because you're leeching off of your children who did not ask to be here to give you $100. I never respected the parents who are like, by the time you're 17 or 18, you're on your own, you're independent, you have to help, you have to pull your own weight. I never respected those parents, because that's not fair for the kid. You do not have these children and put them into this world just so that they can be workers, not just for a company, but also for you, when you've been on this planet for God who knows how long, and you had so many times, so many years to figure it out. It just pisses me off. Tell your mom you understand she was speaking irrationally, but if she refuses to feed you, that you will tell the adults at your school, counselor, teacher, etc., that you, aka she, are refusing to feed you. They are required by law to contact CPS, and that CPS will investigate and might find her possibly complicit if neglecting you, which can find her facing criminal charges. We already have CPS. Okay. Then you need to update them on how the situation has worsened. They know my mom is struggling and has been. We have been with them for years. They only help us sometimes with like $50 with like a $50 grocery card. That does nothing. We are a family of why are you a family of 5? With my grandma who helps a lot already. Grandma, what is going on? Why are we having all these kids? Why are we having all these kids? And where is the second party who helped you have these kids? Where is the fathers? Where are they? Oh, this is why I don't want kids. This is the main reason why. Because it's just so, I especially find it so diabolical how there's so many men out here who will just have babies and leave and then go start another family. That shit isn't normal. That shit isn't normal. They will cosplay like the best type of dude, and then they'll up and leave. And then, like, as a woman and as a mom, it gets to a point where you should just know. You should just know after the first one, this shit is about to get real. This shit is about to get hard. Because she said that her brother is 19 years old. She's 17 years old. There's 3 other kids. Is she taking care of the other kids? I hope. They're probably minors. No, sweetie, you aren't the asshole. You are a minor who is disappointed in your mom, and your mom is out of order for shrinking her responsibilities. Contact your local social services office to ascertain what is available to you as a child. You can also go to a counselor or social worker at your high school. Just know that there are consequences to this, which may include you being removed from the home. I'm an adult and I still ask this question to my parents, only in my head now. If you bring a child into this horrific world, you're responsible because you're the adult, period. I'm sorry this happened to you, not the asshole. Not the asshole, you're not fully grown at 17 either. Do you have a job? Let your school know what's going on. Some schools have programs where kids are sent home food for the weekend. Try a food bank also. I'm so sorry you have a shit government and mom. That's sad. Yeah. I think, well, if I do get paid, maybe I'll use some of my money to give to uh I'll use some of my money to give to the food bank because it's going to be really rough this year. I also wonder if they're delaying unemployment benefits because of because of everything that's going on in the shutdown. I do wonder about that, but it just sucks out here, bro. Am I the asshole? My girlfriend, me 21, girlfriend 20, went through my phone while I was blackout drunk, but was right. Is this fair? This happened about 2 months ago. So pair that with the fact that I was laying on the ground throwing up the whole time, and you've got a recipe for an unreliable narrator. But here's what went down. Names changed, obviously. My girlfriend Ela and Isla. I like Ela. The S is silent. And I had been together for about 8 months at this point. It was the week before our uni year started, and we wanted to go out with some friends before we had to lock in for school. The two of us texted a couple of our friends who happened to be roommates, Caitlin and Mary, to come out with us. Caitlin did. Mary had plans. I'm extremely lightweight, so is Caitlin. But Isla is good at holding her liquor, so she was notably more lucid than the two of us since we were all going shot for shot. Ooh, I can never go shot for shot. I have to have a chaser after a shot. I need something. As a precaution, because of the situation, Caitlin and I handed our wallets, keys, and phones to Isla, as was the least likely to lose them. She seems really antsy the whole night, while Caitlin and I are woefully oblivious. And this all comes to a head when my body deduces I've had too much to drink and I run to the bathroom and lose my lunch. No, I party foul. I don't remember how, but a short time later, we're in an Uber on the way back to Mary and Caitlin's house, and another while after that, we're on the curb outside their house. It's at this time I'd like to point out that I most definitely was not okay. Caitlin had called Mary to come outside and help out of worry for me, and the two of them had rolled me onto my side. I was continuously throwing up. I couldn't so much as stand up, and I was apparently stringing together completely unintelligible sentences. Caitlin had stayed with me and had her phone ready in case became urgent enough to call someone, and Mary ran back inside to bring some water. Protein bars, had a change of shirt if I needed. I don't know if you noticed, but I haven't mentioned anything Isla was doing to help because she was sitting across the street on my phone. Not hers, mine. What she found was text between a friend and admittedly an ex-situationship of mine where I would vent out some of my frustrations I had regarding Isla. Ooh. Why are we doing that? Why are we doing that? First of all, first of all, because everyone might suck here. I think it's a breach of privacy if you were like sneaking onto somebody's phone. I do. But if you are like so hesitant to give someone your phone to the point where they feel like they have to sneak onto your phone, right? Like I could see why the person you're with might have a little bit of red flags. I won't get into detail. I had a lot of bad things. I said a lot of bad things I really didn't mean, and I still feel horrid about it. Whatever suspicions she may have had where I gets confirmed on my phone, so she kept on digging. Mary and Caitlin and Isla were able to walk me back to my apartment as I live about a block away. That night, while I was still drunk enough, I barely comprehended what was happening. Isla and I had gotten in an argument about it. The entire story is to ask the question, that is it valid to snoop like that if she's right? I'm hardly upset about the snooping, even. I just feel like if she wanted to go about snooping in such a way, there's a better time to do it. I don't know how to feel. Um, so I feel like it's an ESH situation. Like everybody sucks here. And the reason why is because, well, Isla's wrong for going through your phone. That's fucked up. She shouldn't have to go through your phone. Um, but I also think OP's wrong for still talking to their ex situationship, talking shit about their current partner with their ex situationship um, on their phone. So like everybody's wrong. You know what I mean? If you as a woman feel like you have to go through your man's phone, you probably should not be with that person. You probably should dump him. Like you guys should not be together because already you do not trust that guy. And I know it's a cute kiki type of moment on TikTok, like this is how you can get into your dude's phone. Like that's funny and all, but if it's to the point where you feel like you have to get into their phone to figure out what they're going on because you don't trust what they're doing, maybe you should not be with them. But also, if you are in a relationship with someone, the worst thing you can do is talk shit about the relationship you're in with someone to an like a friend or to an acquaintance or to like someone you meet in passing, right? Especially someone like a situationship. Especially a situationship. You shouldn't even be entertaining this situationship if you're with this girl. So yeah, it's an everybody sucks situation, but let's see what they say. Not the asshole. I'll explain. I once snooped on someone's phone. I was in the beginnings of a breakup and I learned a whole host of stuff I didn't want to know. That was a shitty thing to do. It didn't matter that I had suspicions that I wanted to confirm or not. It was shitty. So you are entitled to some privacy. That includes a text message. Now, if you had said to her that she can go through your phone as when she wants, then that is one thing, but I doubt you did. What she did was an invasion of your privacy. If this was a guy doing this to a woman's phone, then you'd have a whole legion of folks saying how it's wrong and how they should be dumped and you should never trust them again and they'd be right. The fact it was your girlfriend doing this doesn't change anything. She broke your trust and invaded your privacy. That is a shitty thing to do to someone. It's wrong, and no amount of excuses or saying I need to confirm my suspicions is ever going to change the fact it's wrong. Now, should you have been complaining about your girlfriend to someone else that you had a situationship with? No. That was stupid. But it doesn't deserve you or anyone else having your privacy destroyed because of it. So this is a fair take, but I also feel like for Isla or for OP, you that's just a disaster waiting to happen. Because that situationship is probably on standby waiting for you to get over this girl. I don't know. It's just not a good look. It'd be one thing if you were talking shit about her to your friends, which even then it's like, nah, I don't really like that. That's weird. And it's not like genuine relationships, but like how this person pisses you off, right? But it's a completely different story if you're talking shit about your girlfriend to another situationship. That's weird. Another girl. Okay, real talk. I don't know why guys do this shit. Because some of y'all guys do this shit. Like, you'll express your problems with the current partner you have, or you'll express the problems of a breakup you had with another woman instead of like fraternizing with another like dude, like a woman that isn't dating you, a woman that doesn't know what's going on, or even if she is dating you. It's weird to me, and the reason why it's weird is because it puts that woman in a position where she already by default is taking your side because she knows you. You know what I mean? And we don't know the whole situation, and it just puts them in like I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's just uncomfortable. Like I've had that happen to me before, and I'm willing to help someone through a breakup, but then it gets to a point where I'm like, okay, I can't be the one and only to help you through this. Like, I hope you're talking to other people. I hope you're getting the help you need, going to therapy if you need it. Um, because I really do respect the people who, after they break up with someone, they just don't say anything. They just don't say anything. And then they just move on with their day. Like, if we're close friends and you're going through the breakup and it's stressful for you, that's one thing, right? To like trump up on me about everything that's going on, I'll definitely be here for you for that. But if it's like a thing, like a breakup between mutuals, and like one party doesn't say anything to the group of friends, but the other party is like saying all types of nonsense, then like that's a little weird to me. But especially to a situationship, someone that you previously fucked, obviously there's some feelings there. Even if it was like a one and done, quick type of bang, like someone was attracted to someone in order to do a situationship type things. You're putting this woman in an uncomfortable situation after the situationship by talking shit about the current girlfriend you have. Obviously, she's like hoping that y'all are gonna date. It's just kind of disrespectful, in my opinion, to your girlfriend, but also a little disrespectful to the girl you're talking to, because it puts her in a situation where maybe there is false hope for her, where she thinks that maybe you might dump this girl in order to go back with her, like, and that's weird. It's just, like, you're just not respecting the relationship in that way. This happened about 2 months ago, so okay, okay, okay. Everyone sucks here. You'll never benefit from speaking poorly about your partner to anyone, let alone an ex. And that's another thing. Situationships need to die out. Either you want to be polyamorous or you want to be monogamous, but stop leading people, like, either y'all are dating or you're not. Hang it up. Like, it's not a, well, maybe, or we've been fooling around. Like, is this your girlfriend? Is this your boyfriend? Is this your partner or not? Like, she shouldn't have gone through your personal things, though. UBTA? What is Y, or YBTA? What does YBTA stand for? Youth Bowlers Tour America. Okay, I don't know. I don't know what YBTA stands for. Maybe YBTA Reddit? You would not be the asshole. Okay. So you would not be the asshole. Bad communication all around. You getting drunk, that drunk is unrelated. Poor decision making. Okay. Everyone sucks here. You suck for talking shit behind her back, but even more so for getting so drunk you can't even function. She sucks for snooping and not helping you. Learn to drink responsibly. Yeah. Everybody sucks here. She shouldn't have snooped. But since she was right, it doesn't really matter anymore. You're the bigger asshole for shit talking her to your ex. And are they really exes if they're a situationship? I'm side eyeing OP a little bit. Because why are we in situationships? Why are we in situationships? And why are you talking shit about your current girlfriend to the situationship? What is that? Also, you don't mind that she snooped, but that you're upset she did it when you were drunk and needed taking care of. No, that actually increases your asshole. First of all, two other people were talking taking care of you. You really needed three? What difference would it make if she jumped in or not? Second, you're the ass for having to be taken care of in the first place. It's one thing to get drunk. It's another to get so sloppy you're vomiting everywhere and can barely stand or remember things. I would have dumped your ass that night. Not only are you talking shit, but you expect to be taken care of because you got shit faced. You're a major red flag. All right, so I see where she's coming from. I do. I don't have anything else to say. Um, why are you talking to a situationship? Why are you talking to your ex? That's weird. You're the asshole. Shit talking about your GF to your ex, and you expect people to sympathize you because you took in more alcohol than you should have drunk anyway. Need I remind you, in both these cases, it was your choice to act the way you did. It's high time you grew up. You're 21, not 15. These are consequences to everything you do in life. Yeah. Clock it. Clock it. Yeah, you're sorry, bro. You're the asshole. I wonder if I should put in my input. but she probably should not have snooped. You should not talk shit about anybody, about your relationship to anybody, especially an ex. Puts both parties, Isla and ex, in a bad situation. I'm gonna say everybody sucks here. Yeah, that's just weird. You should not be talking to your situationship while you're in a relationship with a girl. And like I said, men, I don't know why y'all do that. Some women do it too, or a lot of women, like when they're on their first date, they'll be like trauma dumping to the date of all the bad things that the ex-boyfriend did, whether it was cheating on them, whether it was dogging them out, disrespecting them, all that other nonsense, right? And I hear in some spaces that you do not want to do that for the sole reason of that lets the party that you're dating, that partner or the person that you're on a date with, be okay with like putting you through the ringer and fucking you over because you were able to put up with it. But also it could be a version, like if you trauma dump in the beginning of the like in the first date, right? It can make things uncomfortable, because not everyone is like prepared for trauma dumping. But also, if you trauma dump about your ex in the first date, that person could probably mask themselves as like the individual that they think you want them to be, and you won't really get to know or understand who the real person is or who that real individual is that you're talking with or having a date with or gonna potentially be in a relationship with. So for example, if I am on a date and I tell them, yeah, my ex-boyfriend used to make fun of me for liking the color blue, right? Then that person by default is going to make an over exaggerated effort to hype up the fact that you like the color blue and buy you blue everything, right? Meanwhile, this person does not like the color blue themselves. Like, they hate the color blue. And you wouldn't know that until maybe you're like, what, a year or two in the relationship. Maybe y'all are like getting married, like you're a fiance now. And you wouldn't know that because they've been masking who they really are this whole time in fear of wanting to and fear of not being with you anymore, you know? So I don't know. That's just something to think about. Am I the asshole for kicking my cousin out of the car because he kept pretending to shoplift as a joke? Oh, I'm already gonna say no. In these times, no. But let's read the story. I'm 18 male, was at the mall with my cousin, 19 male. He thinks it's hilarious and always does. Why are we doing pranks? Which is just him acting like a clown in public. At one store, he started pretending to put stuff in his jacket and whispering, bro, let's dip to me, loud enough that workers were looking. I told him to knock it off. He kept doing it in the next store too, like holding a hat under his hoodie and fake sprinting to the door. I don't play with cops or lost see you. Yeah, especially if you're a person of color, you do not want, especially in these times, you do not want to. But even in general, cops just kind of are like shitty, so you don't want to play with them, all right? I straight up walked out and told him I was leaving. He laughed and called me dramatic. I told him if he wasn't at the car in 2 minutes, I was driving home. He finally came, still laughing. I told him he was embarrassing and could actually get us accused of something. Yeah. He called me lame and no fun, so I told him to get out of my car and figure out his own ride. Period. Nuke Cuss West. Nuke Cass West. Nuke Cass West. Yeah. He texted me later saying I made him look stupid, and our family group chat is now saying I need to lighten up. What? No, you don't. No, you're not the asshole. You don't need to lighten up. What is going on with the family? No, like you don't want to play around with like cops, bro. I had a friend once, we were out and there was like a cop lurking around in an abandoned area. We just like parked there to like figure out where we were gonna go that night. So we just parked there and we just parked there and uh we there was a cop that was just like walking around the facility, and he looked wired as fuck. He looked like he wasn't playing with anybody. And already this was around the time where we were having a lot of conversations about BLM and stuff and racial profiling with the cops. And so he asks us a question. He's like, did you see anybody lurking around here? And I was like, no, sir. And then my friend was like, well, I don't know, maybe. And he was like being like a goofball with the cop. And I was like, bro, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that in this abandoned area while we're trying to figure out where we got to go in the car. And this cop is wired AF, yoked up, trying to look for any reason to incarcerate a homeless person. Like, please, don't. Okay? Because he might, if his day doesn't go well, he might turn around to us and put something on us and take us to jail because he can't reach his quota for the month, for the night. All right, so like, yeah, I don't like people who play around with cops, and I don't like that the family is telling you to lighten up because it can be very serious. People can get unalived at the hands of cops. So, not the asshole. Your cousin looks stupid because he is stupid. And if your family thinks you should go along with his asinine behavior, they are stupid too. Stop hanging out with your cousin. Yeah, don't hang out with him and his family. And he is shoplifting. Maybe not with you, but he's terrible. Yeah, he probably is. Not the asshole. I'd stop going places with him. With the current state of the world, I'd be highly concerned about anything that could put you into contact with the police. A lot of security loss prevention have been trained to detain suspected shoplifters and let the police sort things out for liability reasons. You don't want the police sorting anything out. Yes. Not the asshole. He is putting you in danger by trying to make security view you as thieves. Not the asshole. Know what's a really funny prank? Dropping back or separating for a moment to tell security you've seen him shoplift. See, that would make him look stupid. He wants the attention. He's got it. What an idiot. Yeah, I don't like people like this. This isn't funny. This isn't funny. If you were shoplifting around me, we couldn't be friends. No, there's no way I'm going down as collateral. Absolutely not. Not the asshole. You didn't make him look stupid. He made himself look stupid. Someday he is going to be this stupid prank and is going to learn what FAFO means. Not the asshole. Pretending to do a crime is an asshole move. Yeah, I agree. You know, like, don't play with the cops, bro. Not now. Not now with all this shit going on. Yo, I'm like so scared to go outside. I'm afraid ice is gonna, like, I don't want to, like, knock on wood. I hope this is wood, but like, I think that's wood. But I'm like so worried about like being out in public spaces sometimes. I was able to do some walking here and there, in my local area, and I found it fun. But I remember driving to the unemployment office, and I just saw like a bunch of National Guard vehicles like driving around in Atlanta. And I was like, oh my God, why are they here? What's going on? This isn't reality. Oh no, you got your friend fired from her job. Why? Yeah, you are. So my friend and I, 22 female, both work in retail. I had planned for weeks with my boyfriend to go home during the weekend so I could visit my family. 2 weeks ago on a Friday, I called my friend called me and told me that the guy she was speaking to had invited her last minute to a desert party and she wouldn't be able to make her shift. So she asked me to cover it for her. I had that Friday off and my BF and I were planning on leaving early since the drive was like around 4 to 5 hours. I told her I can't cover her and she got really upset. She ended up telling our manager that she had a family emergency that she said I'd cover for her. So when my manager called me and asked me why I wasn't at work since my friend said I would be working her shift, I told her the truth that my friend ended up getting fired. Now she's really upset with me because she's saying I threw her under the bus. Am I the asshole? No. No. What, like, you told her, no, girl, I don't got it, and she was like, she got it. I'm working an emergency. My friend will cover it. That's fucked up. She doesn't respect you. That's not your friend. Not the asshole. Your friend is not a friend. She lied and used you. If anything, she threw you and your workplace under the bus. You had every right to say no. You had plans, and you should tell your boss the truth. Yeah, this is not only that, girl code. This is last minute. This is last minute nonsense. Like, it's not like 5 months before and something happened. Like, no, this is last minute. My boyfriend just came into town, so no, you're not the asshole. You had every right to say no. You had no plans, and you should tell the boss the truth. She might have some nice qualities, but I were you, I would not consider her a friend anymore. I think it's bullshit that managers try to make employees get someone to cover their shift. It's the manager's job. Wait, is she the manager? I don't think she's the manager. It's the manager's responsibility to create the schedule. If an employee wants time off after it's reposted, the employee has to arrange coverage or show up. If they don't show up, it's then on the manager to well manage. But nowhere is it understood that a manager should arrange to schedule someone to cover someone who didn't schedule in advance. Found the manager. All right. Even then, the manager should have confirmed with OP instead of just taking the other employee's word on it. It's crazy the people replying to you that it's your job to just figure out coverage for people who want time off without notice. Yeah. Sure, for a real emergency, the manager needs to figure it out. Yeah, but do people really think if someone just doesn't feel like going to work at the last minute when they said they were available and got scheduled, it's just somehow supposed to be okay? Yeah, I agree. No, no, it's not okay. The manager will need to figure out a new schedule, but the employee with no shows should have repercussions. I agree. The manager shouldn't be looking at you and being like, why didn't you cover? But also at the same time, homegirl was using you and lied on your name. Correction, for a man. She got herself fired by missing her shift and lying to the boss, not the asshole. She got really upset with me saying I know how much she liked the boy and how it was a once in a life. Girl, no, it's not. It's never is. It never is. Made me feel like I was the one in the wrong. You're not in the wrong, OP. You're not in the wrong. She's in the wrong. Basically, she got fired because of a boy. That'll teach her about choices and consequences. That's a part of growth. Yeah, that is a part of growth. Maybe she needed this. But a once in a lifetime opportunity for whomst? Like, okay, I gotta put myself in the shoes of a 22-year-old. Even if I wasn't a 22-year-old, I have to put myself in the shoes of somebody who is, a lover girl. I can see how a once in a life meeting a boy and spending time with him would be a once in a lifetime opportunity, but there's just so many men in the world and sometimes it's not worth it. How is it once in a lifetime? You got to wake up from these delusional dreams this girl is trying to put you in. She's just a manipulative loser, and your friendship is probably built around her trying to get on your good side to use you, not genuine feelings. A legit friend wouldn't do this to you, full stop. I agree. I agree. Like, I would have taken it a step further and been like, this is a guy you're speaking to. This isn't even like a guy. Like, if anything, why isn't he bending over backwards to fit into your busy schedule? Like, the fuck? He should be the one over here. Like, I know you got work. Can I talk to you after work? Can we hang out? Can we chill? Like, I don't know, dude. I don't know. Am I the asshole for stomping up this? for the stomping of upstairs and downstairs neighbors? Am I the asshole for banging on the ceiling and floor for loud neighbors and I'm in this noise sandwich? I feel like I'm not valid in stopping the noise when it's happening before 10 p.m. However, my furniture is literally vibrating of the wow, you must live in a very like thin-walled area, poorly built area of the stomping above me and the loud music below me. I understand pets and wanting music, but I go to sleep at like 9 p.m. I don't feel comfortable knocking on the doors of these neighbors and have talked to my landlord for my apartment complex. This music and stomping have never been in the middle of the nights, either the same night, separate nights, you name it. So I feel like I need to suck it up. I don't think you're the asshole for dealing with this, but one of two things. You need to either tell the landlord so that they can tell the neighbors. You can put a notice and let the neighbors know, like, can you stop like stomping? Or you can ask to move to a higher floor so you don't have to deal with that. You need to talk to your neighbors and you need to buy some earplugs. You're going to bed at 9 p.m. does not mean that your neighbors have to be quiet an hour earlier than they have to. Maybe ask your landlord if they can have you at the top floor unit to move to. Yeah, I agree. Not the asshole for wanting to exist in relative peace. However, I think there may be a couple things you can do to make things more tolerable. Earplugs are key. I recommend the silicone ones since they're more comfortable than the foam ones, and in my experience, block more sound on a more consistent basis. It sounds like you need to talk with your neighbors. I'm not sure if it makes sense to double check with the landlord first to ensure the neighbors were notified of the issue. I would base the decision on your relationship with your landlord. Are you acquainted with with any of your neighbors? Because if a unit next to you is also experiencing some sound issues from a diagonal up, downstairs neighbor, approaching the neighbor together would make you less of a focus and hopefully more likely to lead change. If you do have any other neighbors who are affected, encouraging them to go to your landlord as well would help your case. Good luck. Yeah, I feel like OP just needs to make a notice, let the neighbors know themselves, tell the landlord to let the neighbors know, or just move to an upper, like a higher floor. But I also agree with the comments. Life doesn't end, or they um their day doesn't end because they go to bed at 9 p.m. Like people are gonna be late, staying up late, sometimes later than 9 p.m., 10 p.m., sometimes all the way up to 1 a.m., 2 a.m. So it's up to you as as a as a resident to figure out a way how to adapt to that. It's tough, but it is doable. So hopefully they can figure that out. Am I the asshole for not wanting to be cool and grow with the crew? Hmm. All right, this is gonna be the last story I'm gonna read, and then I think I'm gonna wrap things up here for the night, and then we will be full throttle into the next week and finish up the rest of The Walking Dead. So that's gonna be fun, right? So let's read this one. Am I the asshole for not wanting to be cool and grow with the crew? When a certain game came out a few years ago, there was a sudden online community formed around it. Quickly, a big friend group was formed with me being the leader of it, and we started making videos with the tag crew. Let's call it Jays for now. Was it Marvel Rivals? I feel like that's like one of the biggest games to come out. People have been losing their shit. Wait, whoa, whoa. This came out a few years ago. I don't know what the big game was. Marvel Rivals came out like last year. At first, everything was going great. We were making videos, mods, maps, lots of art. Everyone was doing something, and it started out with the sole purpose of being fun. There was a few drama cases where people had to be removed from the group, a drama queen, a bipolar jerk. But besides that, I stay far away from starting or even being around drama. So for the most part, the crew was solid, and there was no in-house fighting. Cut to a year later, one day out of the blue, a lot of the core people left the group chat we had without saying why, and also unfriended me on our social platform. I was in disbelief and wondered what was going on. Ooh, messy gamers, messy gamers. I had to find out from a single person who was willing to text me back that were done with Jay's stuff. The way stuff is handled is going nowhere, and they felt like themselves and a couple people are the ones to want to do anything cool and grow with the crew. They want to put energy, time into something that they can't be proud of. Also, my genuine disregard for anyone else's shit disappointed them. I don't know what confused them. I stated often that I wanted to make video games and have fun, not to get popular or grow the crew. I also felt like we were doing cool stuff all the time. Also, I never disregarded anyone's stuff. I always gave them positive feedback to everyone's stuff, whatever they were working on. Everyone was really talented, and I was often envious of what they were doing. If anything, I remember saying I might not be totally invested in this specific idea, but I'll help out however I can and support you. Like I totally didn't want to active support them or anything. It's been 2 years since, and only that one person has contacted me and told me their side of the story. Some friends I've kept from the crew often tell me that they're talking shit about me and or making up stuff and telling others. Personally, the whole thing has made me really sad because I still miss them, all of them. They were like family to me, and I would do anything to hang out with them. Aww. I would even apologize for whatever I did to make them upset with me, but communication is a two-way street, and I feel like they just straight up never had the intention of talking it out with me or giving me the time a day to tell me what I did wrong for the reason of leaving the friend group crew. Am I the asshole or am I okay? So it looks like there was a group developed to make content based off of this really popular game, and then some people of the group wanted to leave because they didn't they, they wanted to get popular and OP didn't. They just wanted to have fun. And then some rumors were spread. Damn, this sounds like a girls trip. This sounds just as messy as a girls trip in my opinion. Hello. What? um I'm sorry you got kicked out of the group chat. I don't know. This is interesting to me. It seems like OP went in with the idea that we're just doing this for shits and giggles, and then people saw this as a lucrative way of making money off of it and like growing as a content creator. And so it seems like there was a divide in expectations for what they were supposed to do with these videos, I guess. Mods, maps, and art and all that. Um, yeah, this sucks. I don't think they're an asshole for not wanting to grow. I think the group is more of an asshole. But I also like a bigger theme I want to talk about is that it's really sad that people can't, like, some people feel like they can't just do things for the fun of it, like just because it's fun. Like build communities online and be friends with people for it because it's fun, or create like weird little video diaries of their own because it's interesting to them or it's entertaining, without there being an ulterior motive of I want to be a big content creator or there's a potential for me to grow from this. It's very sad that we've gotten to this point now. Oh, I can do a 360. Yes, full 360. Back to what I was talking about earlier today about the 9 to 5 jobs, and how you have to develop a whole brand just so you can be seen as a viable candidate, like a content creator level of brand, personal brand for them to see you as a viable candidate. Forget that you have like good enough skills. They want to see if you are like LinkedIn famous, right? I feel like I don't know, with stuff like this, like with human interaction, seeing if people can actually get the work done and they have the skills to get it done, and just with like even like simple like friendships or relationships, I feel like we lost the plot a lot when it comes to social media and the opportunities that social media gives us, because it seems like nowadays we have changed the idea of like genuine human connection, people who have capable skills, people who are looking for true like meaningful friendships for, do they look the part, how many followers do they have, is there a potential for this to grow and then we get bigger after the fact, in my humblest opinion. And I feel like there should be a divide between the two. Not everything needs to be seen as a lucrative opportunity for you to make content out of, for you to want to grow. I think people should focus more so on like building community and having just meaningful friendships, and fun things to do to like help the community that they're a part of. One thing I do know is that if it's like a specific like community of people, like for example, Code Lyoko is getting like a reboot from the fandom. Like the fandom is making this whole new like Code Lyoko reboot based on the show, the old show Code Lyoko that was on Toonami with the kick-ass theme song. um, and I think what happened is because the people who are working on that project were so passionate about the show that people just by default like wanted to support them, and inevitably it just grew, not just from the own like the Code Lyoko fandom, but like people like I'm not in the fandom and now I even know that there's like a Code Lyoko fan project going on, right? And I think that's really really cool. I think the same thing, another fandom that does this well is like the Warriors Cat series. Don't 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 judge me, okay? But them Warriors Cats fandoms, okay, those fan artists and those animators, stellar animators. They probably working at Disney right now as we speak, okay? Like the Warrior Cat fandom, guys, okay, are they have the best of the best animators on their team, okay? In that community, that fandom, they got amazing animators. And maybe the people who are part of the fandom aren't trying to do these things or do these little animations or these big projects in hopes of like getting noticed or getting famous or growing or building popularity. They're really doing it because they're just a fan of the Warrior Cat series, and they're really a big fan of the fandom in general online and what it's developed to be. And I feel like, I don't know, that's a good example of like balancing where you build a community of people where you're making content, you're doing videos, maps, mods, and art based off of this one particular thing and developing, something great for the fandom. But then within that, because of your love for the game, you're able to grow a community by default, and you're just doing it because you love what projects you're making. I think there's a space for that. I think if people, I don't know, move with the idea of doing things, and don't get me wrong, like I'm a realist, so I think when people move with the idea of doing things because they genuinely have interest and they find it fun, it's a lot easier to grow and develop it as content organically, instead of just, oh, this is a way for us to make like money or become big creators and very popular, let me just go ahead and figure out a way how to optimize this in the best ways possible. The Sonic the Hedgehog community, the fandom, this is another good example, okay? Because let me tell you something. Okay? 10 years ago, if you were to tell me that Sonic the Hedgehog was going through like a Beyonce level Renaissance type of energy, okay? All right? If Sonic the Hedgehog was gonna have their own type of Renaissance right now, all right, I would have looked at you like you were stupid. Because what? It was 2015, and the best thing we got from the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise was Sonic Forces around the time, or talks of Sonic Forces. And then Sonic Boom. And the Sonic Boom cartoon was funny, but like the game sucked. And then it seemed like a lot of the Sonic the Hedgehog fans, we got older. Wait, hold on. When did the Sonic the Hedgehog fan game come out? I don't think it came out then. It was Sonic Mania, I believe. Yeah, that didn't come out until 2017, and that's when we started to see a bit of a turnaround, okay? Sonic Mania is when we started to say, oh, okay, people actually give a damn. And that was like a fan-made project. 2017 Sonic Mania was a fan-made project, right? And so that project was able to grow organically within the fan base and outside of the fan base because people genuinely had an interest in Sonic the Hedgehog and wanted what was best for the Blue Blur, okay? Instead of whatever the hell was going on in the past like decade with the Sega company, all right? But That's a good example as well, because now, fast forward 10 years later, the live action movies are doing phenomenally. Everybody loves Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic has all these shows like Sonic Prime. The comics are phenomenal. I think a lot of the fan base is like a big contribution is the comics itself, and introducing these new fans through the comics. Even and what's crazy is even some of the Sonic artists who are working on the comics, I used to follow when I was a teenager. Like I used to follow them, and I used to love their artwork so much, and now they're working on the comics, so I think that's phenomenal too. Um, and so yeah, I think it's best to move when you make these communities with the idea of you want to do something good for the fandom, or you want to do something good for the community, and then organically you will be able to grow around it. But I don't know, someone else might have a different opinion, so let's see what they got to say. Everybody sucks here. If you are a proclaimed leader, you should be invested in the ideas and hold regard for what is important to them. However, they clearly had no regard for you or your feelings since they chose not to communicate. Very childish and unfortunate loss of a memorable crew, it sounds like. To vote, you're the asshole, but so are they. You can vote everybody sucks here. See the voting guide to the right. Okay. Dude, welcome to love and life is Shrek's, is like Shrek the video game. What? Is that the name of the game that's getting popular? Welcome to Love and Life? Is this it? Is this the game? I'm curious to know what type of video game it is. I'm not gonna lie. But I don't think it's Welcome to Love and Life. I don't know which one is Love and Life. Ooh. I've never played Boulder's Gate, but I do find Carlac attractive. I do. I do. um, what are we doing here? Okay, so I don't know what game it is. This, and low key, this sounds like some like super like petty drama, but I think there's something to be learned here. I don't know if everybody sucks here. I don't know if it's too soon to say this. Plus, it was made 2 hours ago. Okay. I think that people just had different interests, and I can't see if you're not totally invested in the idea, but you're saying that you'll help out whenever you can. That's okay. That's healthy. Um, but I don't know. When it comes to like growing online, you really want to do something that's interesting to you, to the point where you don't feel like it's a chore, and you don't feel like you're pushing yourself. So I don't know. It just seems like you guys split up for artistic differences, and that's unfortunate. They want to grow, you don't. I would say still keep doing the same thing that you're doing, but kind of let them grow on their own. But if you are trying to grow within a fandom, it might be best to just like put like the interests of the fandom first, or like what the fandom wants first, um before you care about growing so much. I don't know. In my personal opinion, in my humblest of humblest opinion. So I think that might be helpful. But yeah, it sucks that this happens, and it sucks that so many people are being pigeonholed into being like creators inadvertently. Like, not everyone is built to be a content creator. I'm sorry. And maybe, I don't know, maybe this is the way the world is going to look in like the new age of technology with like AI and everything trying to displace these jobs. Maybe the new age of work looks like a content creator economy. Maybe. Um, and if that's the case, maybe everything around that content creator economy can be very lucrative. It can be a viable field, because content creators themselves, like, they need editors, they need, people to post their stuff. Sometimes they need fact checkers if they're video essayists or if they're podcasters and they like to do like fleeting topics. Like they probably need all of those things. So I don't know. That's just something to think about. That's just something to think about. How the creator economy is going to evolve as and grow as the working and the 9 to 5 job market decreases and devolves. What's that going to look like for us? I also wonder how, like, especially with AI, because now there's more and more talks about like UBI becoming a real thing. I wonder how that's gonna look for us. Like, does every single person get $2,000 a month? And is that gonna be a decent amount of income for people to live on? Like some 10, 15 years from now? With how expensive everything is right now? I don't know. I think about that too. But I also wonder if people are overestimating the success of AI, if it will be a bubble. Like, for example, the dot com bubble, ooh, excuse me, the dot com bubble um, was uh, a thing that happened and it blew up overnight. And there were a lot of businesses that got started. And when it was all done and the bubble popped, there were a lot of businesses that ended. But from that, we all learned that everybody needs a website. Now it is imperative, if you are a business, to have a website in order for people to look and see whether or not they want to use you as a service provider, or see who you are as an individual, what you're about, what you can provide for them. It's imperative, okay? Um, Especially for companies. Um, I wonder what that's going to look like for AI, because a lot of people have been saying that the AI bubble will burst because AI cannot perform as well as we think it can at an enterprise level. Like, there still needs to be overseers watching over the AI and making sure that the AI knows, like, it's spewing back the right information, I guess, is one way to put it. So I do wonder about that. That is interesting to me. I don't think personally, I think that the decline, like, AI will probably be used in like the tech sector for helping write like quick, simple code, but you'll still need like a proptator, like someone to proptate over the AI to make sure that the code that they're using is correct. I do believe that will happen. I do believe that like jobs like model designer, where you're designing like user flows and stuff, but you're not necessarily designing the user flows as much as you are like an overseer for how the user flow is going to work. I think that's going to become a new job through AI. And I also think that uh, like little like efficient tools here and there, like, hey, can whip up this email for me real quick, or um whip up this brief for me real quick, will be useful for like AI, right? Like, I feel like AI will be useful in that regard. Where I feel like AI won't be as useful is um with actually how do I put this? I feel like AI is going to flop when it comes to like content creators. Those sound, like those faceless channels that where you can so clearly tell that a content creator or that an AI is like narrating it, and there's like images in the background. I feel like that's not gonna be long lasting in the future. I feel like music labels are going to push, like, make an avid push for um, AI entertainment. But I feel like we as humans are not going to be into it as much. Like, we're going to kind of be like, well, this is weird. I don't know. I feel like AI is going to have a very, very uncanny valley. And if they push a new artist that is artificially intelligent, it's going to be, they're going to have to like hide that from everybody. Like, it's going to be really, like, it will have to be really, really difficult for the music industry to hide the fact that that's an AI artist. I don't think people are going to be quick to jump on the AI music trend. And I also think that people might not be into AI content creators either. Like some people can like kind of peep when a content creator is AI. So I think that might not come to fruition, though I could be wrong. I could be wrong about all of this. I also think that there needs to be more regulation for AI. It's about to get really dangerous, and there's no regulation for it, but here we are. But more importantly, I don't think that AI is going to be able to displace a buttload of jobs at an enterprise level. I still think it has like years and years to evolve, but again, we'll have to see how that looks. And one of my other predictions about AI, which is kind of nefarious, is that we all know, like a lot of these execs who run AI know that it can't be run at an enterprise level, and know that AI isn't as reliable as people have been letting it on to be, because it just feeds back information to you based off of an algorithm, because it's a machine learning model, um, or based off of like queries of data or whatever. So what I think is going to happen is that even if a lot of higher ups know that AI isn't reliable, they're going to spoon feed to us and like convince us that AI is reliable and we should trust it, and try to get most of humanity on board with the changes of AI technology, even if it's wrong. And so that could have a lot of disastrous outcomes. Like if you're having your doctor read out your health chart based off of a screening they have done through artificial intelligence, that could be dangerous. Um, yeah, I don't know. That's just something to worry about, I guess. Ooh, this is cute. I also think there needs to be more regulation of AI art, because this is AI art. I don't like this. I don't know. I feel like people are real in the next upcoming generations. Oh, let me show this to you. This is an AI art book, picture book. I feel like in the future generations, there's going to be people who are going to be very against artificial intelligence, to the point where they're like, I only want like all organic, like human made products. I don't know. I feel like there's a use for AI. Like you could use it as a study tool, not in a way where you're asking AI for questions, but in a way where whatever you're reading, you can copy and paste it into ChatGPT, and then ChatGPT can make notes for you. I think that's very helpful. Like whatever you're reading, they can re-explain it back to you based off of what you've read, or summarize it for you. I think that could be helpful. And it's helpful in like calculating like meal plans, meal prep, grocery lists, all of that. But when it comes to like really trying to replace humanity, I don't know if people are going to be down for that, really. I don't know if people are going to be fans. But yeah, guys, I think that's it here. I've been on here for almost 4 hours. I think it's good to end things here. I want to tell y'all thank you so much for joining my stream. I'm sorry that for like 20 minutes I ranted about like straight backs and being $200 and I was muted. So hopefully you guys stuck around for that. Just like speed up the stream if you hear me go mute while I'm talking. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to my Reddit Story Sunday. We're going to start the next week into November, the month of November. Thanksgiving. Food. Um, that's all I think about during Thanksgiving is food. And yeah, we're gonna be playing the rest of The Walking Dead. I think we have one episode left, and then it'll be over. And then we're gonna probably gonna move into The Wolf Among Us. If not The Wolf Among Us, maybe The Quarry. One of two. But yeah, looking forward. Looking forward to playing these games with you. I really enjoy gaming with you guys. I really like the Reddit Story Sundays that I'm doing as well. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your evening or your morning because it's technically Monday morning. Y'all take care. Stay blessed. Love y'all. Bye.